And we are live. Thank you for joining us for our fantastical Friday night Dungeons and Dragons extravaganza. I'm your diabolical dungeon master, Will Tomorrow, and with me are my four friends, help to take you through the wilds of the Sword Coast, and indeed, the cosmos, well, the multi-cosmos, that is, the fantastical Rod of Seven Realms in the telling. Now, so far, dear viewer, you might have noted to yourself, now wait a minute, they keep talking about the Seven Realms, and these motherfuckers are just in Phandalin, right? Like, Seven Realms, this is like the corner store around the block. Well, if you have been paying attention, dear viewer, I can assure you that it is a Phandalin unlike the which that you have ever held within your purview previously. That's right. It is a spicier Phandalin, not just due to the culinary machinations of Guy Ferry, the proprietor of the Kicking Donking Inn, but indeed to a bunch of other additions. Now, whether those were to the unrequited genius of the dungeon master himself, or perhaps the falling in of the multiverse upon itself, that does remain to be seen. What doesn't remain to be seen, though, is that these effects are going to continue and become more pronounced as the story develops. Speaking of the story, we're going to recap it, but not before we get a little recapping of a different kind, right? As our very own Sariel, the amnesiac archangel, the Azamar who drives the car, I'm workshopping that one, recounts a little campfire tale to kick us off. Now, this is interesting, viewer, because not only do I, as the DM, have no idea what is about to happen, so I find it tantalizing and stimulating, right? But she's an amnesiac. So does she even know what's about to happen? Ooh, let's find out.
I blow into my hands and I rub it and I hold it out to the fire. I wanted to thank you guys saving me back there. Thinking about it, I honestly don't know what would have happened to me. Probably would have been eaten by one of those goblins that we had killed. Anyway, I have to tell you something. Something that happened last. I think LaRue has given me the power to be able to commune with the dead. I saw Billy. Now listen to me. I know I'm not crazy. I saw him. While everybody was sleeping in the inn, I had snuck out and I had gone looking to see if I could find out who I was before, landing with you guys. I try to think and try to figure out where it is that I come from, who I am. I mean, look at me. I'm wearing military dress. I have a spear, obviously. I came fighting from someone's army or something, right? But the only thing I can remember is the name in my head, LaRue, my patron. So I thought maybe I could go and find her and pray to her or something. I had wandered out past the gates, past the guards and towards the woods. It was, I don't know, something there was calling to me. So I wandered over and found a nice little clearing between the woods, and I knelt down. I knelt down and I prayed. I called out to LaRue to see if she could tell me where it is that I come from. I know it's not here. It's so different here. The lights are just brighter, and the air feels thicker, feels heavy on my skin, maybe even a little bit wet and sticky. And the smell at first, you guys said it was because you hadn't bathed in a while. And then there were the goblins, right? They didn't smell too good, but there's also something in the air that tells me I'm not from here. It's just not right. And I called out to her. I don't think I got any answers. I didn't think I did at the time. But then I started thinking about Billy and what had happened to him. And Taliesin, I know it was you who dealt the killing blow, but it was really my actions that caused his death, and I I am sorry for the way that it went because, I mean, I didn't understand what Billy was saying, but I liked the poor fellow well enough. It became apparent to me, though, that if we kept him with us, it was just going to be a matter of time until he had murdered someone else, someone innocent, you know? So I thought that maybe if I had cleansed him with LaRue's light, his soul, his spirit would be able to find some peace. That's what I was trying to do anyway, and obviously it didn't turn out that way. When I
Just to
lifted
add
my
a
head,
character recap for 1 second. She is describing when she tried to assassinate Billy by shooting him in the back of the head with magic, causing Rue to have to drag him hand over hand with the rope through the muck and stab him multiple times with an arrow to silence him. Just so we're painting the please continue, but I'm sorry, context, right?
and when I was done with my prayer, I looked up, and there Billy was, about 5, 7, maybe 10 feet away on the other side of the clearing. He wasn't that far away. He was pretty close, but I saw him, and he was looking at me. He looked at me like he could see me, and there wasn't any anger there. There wasn't any animosity. I tried talking to him. He didn't say much. I mean, he didn't say anything at all, really, actually, but I could tell that maybe he forgave us for what we did. When I tried to go closer to him, however, he did disappear. But I think maybe he is at peace now. Maybe.
So,
Out of character, she was drunk, right? When we went to bed, she was drunk because she failed.
that's true. Actually, she
Okay.
did
No,
fail
that's
on
fine.
the power word drunk. Maybe it is the drunkenness affecting the retelling. Yes.
There, Sariel. It's. You could tell it was Billy. Was he clean then? Just a little bloody.
Yeah. He was all clean, just like when I had cast my prestidigitation on him, all yellow like.
About his eye, where Teleasin stuck her arrow. I mean, was there blood there? Was the pupil missing? Was it just a hollow
What?
orb?
No, not at all. He was
His spirit. Yeah, his
fine.
spirit still has both eyes. You know.
Was he a force ghost? Did he appear as a force ghost? All kind of blue and transparent, just smiling next to Obi-Wan?
No, he looked like he was real.
Sorry.
He was actually there. You think I'm crazy, but I saw him.
I don't think you're crazy. I think it's. I've not known a goblin to be much unforgiven, but I mean, he did know that it was either that or a painful death at the hands of somebody else. So better to have it at friends than otherwise, right?
Sariel, have you drank a lot before?
No.
Are you sure you got up out of bed and this isn't a thick dream?
No, I did. Rife was in the corner. He was staring off, doing that weird thing he does.
Yeah, you could still dream about Rife being weird.
Well, I
Did you
did
see
see her
her
leave
leave?
actually, but I just didn't care. I thought maybe she won't come back. Then we less to share, but she came back.
Good job.
Confirming
she
the
went.
story, man.
I think she went. I think she had a moment, and her patron showed her. You know, instead of I
Did
think
answer
I
my
think
call.
yeah.
And then there was
I mean, you
one
were
set of
trying-
footsteps in the mud
when
from where
Lou
LaRue
He
carried
didn't
her.
move. He hadn't
Um,
moved.
No, I
Just-
definitely.
As I tried to approach him, he vanished. But I think he was there to
Well.
tell me everything was okay.
You know, I'm gonna take it. My patron doesn't usually do that for me, but you know, you were trying to do your patron's work by cleansing him, right? So
Right.
maybe you know, maybe a little bit got in there, and maybe he's with LaRue now. Maybe he's living peace in whatever celestial realm LaRue habitates. I think that is a lovely story, and do you know, it's a pity more goblins can't go that way.
You know,
I-
Right.
you were about halfway through the story, and you were talking about Billy, and I'm like, who the fuck is she talking about? And then I remembered, oh yeah, he's that goblin. He's that goblin Taliesin just like stabbed with an arrow. It was brilliant. Thanks for that memory.
Let's actually recount this full story here as we recap. A lovely story. If Billy is with LaRue now, she's probably not pleased by it, just given what I know of her as a deity. But what happened was that Billy was the sole survivor from your home invasion robbery of the Cragmaw hideout, if you'll recall there. You having murdered to a man the rest of the inhabitants under the belief that they could not be allowed to continue their gainful employment as robbers along the Tribor Trail. Right? You elected then to take Billy with you. There were multiple ideas as to what was going to happen to him. We were going to hood him and take him to a black site outside of Phandalin in the woods somewhere. We were going to sever his Achilles tendons and just leave him by the roadside where he wouldn't threaten anyone. We were going to put him in a bag entirely and trying to sell him to a poor couple as an unsuspecting orphan that might fulfill their need for a child. We had a lot of ideas, but ultimately what we elected to do was tell him to look off at the horizon while Sariel missed a Eldritch blast to the back of the dome.
We didn't know that she was doing that.
It was going to be a sacred flame. I was going to purify him with
and it was secret. She did not announce it.
She did not announce it. Everybody was actually discussing what they were going to do when Sariel was like, I know, and whiffs on it, to which Billy the Goblin, being a goblin that had lived 3 long years at this point and was well acquainted with the nuances of goblin survival, which meant you stab the big boss and become the big boss, and when somebody's trying to stab you to become the big boss, you run away really fast, right? He elected for number 2, right, using goblin politics, the political theory.
He also got a wild magic bomb.
Oh, and...
That's right.
Excuse me.
That's how he knew.
That's how he avoided it. That is how, in fact, he avoided it, because our audience saw fit to buy him a wild magic potion, which had exploded, thusly rendering him able to escape like 20 feet off into the woods when Taliesin pulled taut the rope that had been wrapped around his waist and then began wrapping it around her forearm as she dragged him claws and mud back. And dispatched him, real peaceful. Like, it was gentle. There was like, he was like, these clouds are so lovely, Taliesin, thank you for this. And you were like, I know, gentle Billy.
I believe he actually told me to get fucked by that point. So
he was definitely, he was definitely peeing himself a bit. I mean, it was a bad scene. But dispatched Billy and made it into town to, Sildar Hallwinter, very much so in need of a drink, immediately went to the Kicking Donkey Inn to turn in his shield for a bottle, right, which he procured. We turned in our supplies at Barthen's Provision to meet Elmer Barthen, who was very browbeaten and sore and timid around the town guard, a.k.a. Red Brands, that we encountered that leered quite lecherously at Sariel as she tried to exchange the local custom of leering lecherously and spitting. Turns out it was a bit of a miscommunication there, but they got it sorted. Then there was the Kicking Donkey Inn, right? The main new tavern in town, run by Guy Ferry, the little spiky blonde hair hobbit, who had a penchant for fancifully named dishes and enthusiastically proclaiming things to be bodacious, right? You guys got a room there and managed to get drunk on some gelatinous cube jigglers and power word drunk. Found yourselves asleep for the night, at which point apparently Sariel wandered off and communed with LaRue, while Rife went, that was dumb. She's gonna die. Right? Woke up the next morning, went to the Lion Shield Costers, right? Met Gladys, the proprietor there, that didn't put up with any shit from the Red Brands and had a secret weapons rack in the back, in addition to a variety of narcotics, including a halfling narcotic cheese, which is quite lovely. And I didn't make up, that is canonical halfling drug cheese, by the way. I can't wait for that to come into play at some point. But She announced that the Red Brands were a menace and needed some strong-armed fellows to take care of it, to which you guys were like, hey, we might be strong-armed fellows. And then went off to meet Harbin Weston, the town master, and hopefully...
We decided not to meet him because she told us he was in the pocket of the Red Brands. And
you went to Sildar Hallwinter, who's at the town hall with Harbin Weston.
Yeah.
Excuse me, yes. Town hall, at any rate. The sturdiest of the newly constructed buildings, steepled wood roof bell tower in the back. And you were in the middle of trying to, muster up Haldar's spirit, right? Because he did seem about half drunk and a little despondent, missing both a ring and his shield at this point to the vices at the bottom of a cup. Right? And he was like, that sounds all well and good, but that'll be next week. And that's literally where we are right now with him, like, next week. Boom. Next week, look at that. Wow. Time flies in Phandalin. So you'll recall that outside of the Town Master's Hall, there had, of course, been the notice board that stated that they were looking for some people to dispatch the orc raiders at Werventor and were willing to pay a pretty fee. You were to inquire within with the town master. And that Sildar himself was in the process of trying to get a raven out to Waterdeep to procure the funds that he needed to both pay you and, fund his more permanent stay now that he has taken up residence in Phandalin.
So we sent his letter for him, right? Or we helped him write his letter.
Yeah, you were in the process. I suppose we have finished that at that point. That it should be getting sent off. Who all is here at this point? I forget. The whole party had assembled at this point, right?
Yeah, we're all here.
Yes. Why doesn't everybody give me a perception check? Excellent. Wonderful, Rife, and...
I think Sariel's still hungover.
She's probably wicked hungover. Yeah, actually, I'm gonna need a Constitution roll to see if you Ralph or not. No, that's the D&D I played when I was a teenager. That's not this D&D. We just assume you feel like shit generally. No dice required. But Alestria and Rife, from the back you hear, No. It is far more aquiline and regal than that. I demand you redo the nose. And you can see Sildar go, I've corresponded with this fellow a couple of times. He was equally unpleasant in text.
Is it the town master?
His voice is unmistakable, yes.
He's getting that statue carved of himself in the back we saw when we came in. But remember, he's, if he's not on the take from the Red Brands, they've at least got him cornered. I don't know if he's going to be someone we want to deal with at the moment.
Yeah.
Especially, Rife, as you were mentioning, maybe trying to discreetly join our enemies here.
Yeah, maybe
I don't think it'd be a good idea to go meet with him.
Why couldn't he introduce us to their leader then? Take out their leader, and then we become the new leaders.
This isn't a goblin cave, though. That's not always how that works. You don't kill Big Boss to become new Big Boss.
Well, in the good old days in Netheril, that's how we did things.
Also factual. That was pretty much Netherese politics, too. You kill the wizard above you. Hey, look, I'm the wizard.
Sildar?
Yes.
How long do you anticipate it will be before you get your provisions?
That depends on whether or not they're sent magically, I suppose. It could be this afternoon. It could be, a fortnight.
Well, I think it's important. I take the ring that I bought back off of the bartender.
Mm-hmm.
And I kind of take his hand and put it in his palm and close his hand over it. I think it's important you keep this.
His hand or his half hand?
His hand. I'm not touching his wounded hand. That would
right.
Be
not. Well, it's just it's a clean stump now. It's magically healed, but these two fingers, he's got this thing going on pretty much, and this part of the hand's missing there on his left. But Yeah. Yeah, no, well, shit. Next bottle's on me, he says, flicking it up in the air and catching it.
But the intent is for you to keep it, not give it away again.
Well, I, appreciate your intent, and I assure you that, when payment is, forthcoming, I will, pawn it back.
Okay.
Serial, pay attention to this. This is called stupid.
What? I don't understand what it's for.
Well, let's just say, no offense, Alistria. She tried to do something nice, but it's not going to work out. He's going to spend the ring again, get drunk, end up in a gutter. Ring's gone. He's drunk. Some kids will probably pee on him or something. That's why it's okay to...
Now, the gutter is a strong place to assume I'll wind up. You know, certainly I'll provision myself in a hayloft or something.
So what you're saying is, don't try and do nice things for people here?
No.
Yeah.
Serial.
Lesson learned.
Don't listen to Rife. His views are not of this time, nor of what most people would consider kindly and good.
We
I
just take
see.
what he says with a grain of salt.
Yeah, usually.
Because it's got a lot of salt coming off it, you know.
Lot of salt.
Sildar, as it were.
Should I disrobe at this point?
Oh Christ.
Did,
I would like to get out of here before he takes his breeches off. Sildar, your friend Albric that went missing. Did he go missing? Was he traveling with you and Gundren, or did he go missing before?
No, he was a representative of the Lord's Alliance that had been sent ahead here. He'd been here for
That's right.
2 months, maybe 3 moons.
Okay, so we're still. He's a
He just-
different person we're looking for.
Yeah, he disappeared about a month ago. He's my ulterior motive for accepting Gundren's contract.
That's right, and he came here.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, I mean, if we want to talk to the man before he takes his pants off, I suppose we do it now, but if not, I think we have some other people we could probably talk to that are not about to get naked for a sculpture. Where is that
Shouldn't
sculpture
it be
gonna
more bulging?
oh, that sounds like outside needs attendance, Taliesin.
go? Yeah, I'm gonna step out.
Yeah, I mean, you would have to actually go into the alcove office to see what is transpiring in the back room there.
I mean, being a dwarf, I'm used to like accidentally walking into the wrong angle on statues and the like. So I'd rather not.
Right. It's always just eye level. Yeah.
It's like, yeah, it's just because they always put them up on pedestals and.
Oh man, and you have the stone cunning too. Yikes.
Yeah, so I look at it and I'm like, this is really good craftsmanship, but it's just an ugly dick. I'm sorry.
I can't help but notice how veinous it is. How much time they took carving each individual. Yeah,
Why?
the stone
Why
cunning
was this a
kicking
thing
in.
that was done. Oh, but
I never actually considered dwarven stone cunning and like statue art of naked people. That is an odd combo. That
it's a
yeah.
module that you can skip if you have religious opposition to it.
Right.
But my parents never read the permission slips; they just signed everything. So
Right, 100%. Just out of our hair.
is
But-
it a dwarven stonecutter that's working on it back there?
I mean, you'd have to see that too, wouldn't you, to get back there. But I mean, likely they're, they are known for their stone cutting.
Yeah. Well, I mean, if you want him to see if he can introduce us to the main guy, but we're gonna have to. We've already been seen talking to Gladys, and I just don't know if it's something we want to risk.
Well, from what Gladys said, I don't think he's the guy we want to talk to, right?
I'm thinking this Aldrich guy, if he's from this Lord's Alliance, maybe there's some coin in finding him, rescuing him. Or at least his corpse, bringing it back if he's dead.
I think, for me, my first goal is to find Gundren.
Albrecht, by the way, is the fellow that you're missing from the Lord Alliance. Yarno Albrecht.
Oh, is it? Okay. Yarno Albrecht.
Albrecht.
Mm-hmm.
Well, yeah, Gundren, we gotta find Gundren. He owes us for sure. this Albrecht guy is he's a bird in the bush.
So let's recap then, right? We have the mission board out front that says Raconteur, right? We have the leads at the farm and the orchard to pursue, right? Potentially in town. We have the Sleeping Giant Tap House where we know the red brands are proper, right? There's still the Shrine of Luck, right? There is, there's all kinds of stuff, yeah. But missions so far, right? Sildar had recommended that perhaps if you're trying to find where they took Gundarin, that you wait in the woods for a goblin patrol to wander by, right? And then ambush them. And then, instead of murdering all the people in charge and keeping Billy the Goblin, murdering all the Billy the Goblins and keeping the guy in charge and asking him questions.
In all fairness, we killed Billy the Goblin too.
That's true, actually. Never mind, yeah.
In cold blood.
It was pretty... you go back and you... it was nice. It was a warm day. It was
a warm day. The sun was out.
It was a balmy afternoon, certainly. Mm-hmm.
Well,
I took us running away as a threat to my life.
That's fair. I mean, modern cop logic.
I
had to reload 6 times for my safety.
Yeah. My suggestion is we go out to the outside of town just for a little bit, see if we can't locate Thunderin and Nunderin, and see if they'll help us, if they've got any interest or any idea on where goblins have been recently besides where we were, obviously. Then maybe we can go find that patrol like Sildar was talking about, and also perhaps see if they've heard anything or if they know anything about this castle Cragmaw, or what might be called a castle to the goblins.
How long has it been since they've been seen, those two brothers?
A week, 10 days?
About a 10-day, yeah. Mm-hmm.
About a 10-day. They can take care
of themselves,
And I think
Elmar had said he was expecting them to provision, because, they come back into town every week for salt pork and shit like that, but...
I'm at least relatively hopeful that they're going to be nearby. I could be wrong.
Like the most important person we need to find is this Gundren, right?
Yeah, he owes us money.
I have a feeling this is dwarves' intuition here, so take it or leave it as you will. But I feel like Nunderin and Thunderin are going to be the ones that could help us potentially find where Gundarin is, where they've taken him. I feel like if we want to find out more about this Glassstaff character, that's going to tell us where Yarno Albrecht is too. Because I have a feeling this band of bandits that has taken over this town weren't going to like any guy coming in from the Lord's Alliance and trying to tell them what's what.
Yeah, I agree. I think that's a solid assessment of the situation.
And I have a feeling, again, just a hunch, not a hump. I don't have a hump, but a hunch, dwarf's hunch, that Mr. Townsmaster over there with his breeches around his ankles, if we ask him about Albrecht, he's going to rat us out to the others.
Definitely don't want to talk to that one.
I think Taliesin, between you and I think we can track most anything out in the woods to find.
I agree.
They're less curly than that, longer, more flowing, luxurious.
Okay, so, let's go on outside of town. Let's see if we can't find them, and if not, let's go to a farm or maybe an orchard.
Yeah, we can hook through either of those. Yeah.
So,
out of character is the orchard and the farm, are they within Phandelin's city
walls?
They're
on the outskirts of Phandalin. Well, so Phandalin doesn't really have city walls proper. I mean, they're the remnants of a city wall from the town before, but they haven't quite got there construction-wise. But the orchard is in the northeast of town, right? You pretty much passed by it on your southern incursion off the Tribor Trail.
Okay.
Whereas the Alderleaf Farm is to the south of town, both kind of on the outskirts, certainly away from prying eyes, that sort of deal. Here, let me pull up the map again.
And the south of town takes us closer to the mountains.
I mean, there are mountains and forests in every direction, almost equidistant from where you are in Phandalin right now. You were in a pretty heavily forested region. Let me pull it up because I don't want to misquote, but I believe that the Sword Mountains are directly south. Come on, Phandalin. Phandalin. Oh my god, too many images. Fantasy Grounds, you have too many images. It's your fault, not my fault. Fantasy Grounds' fault. That's what you get when you spend like $3,000 on Fantasy Grounds over most of a decade. You get all the images.
Everything.
Everything. Here we go. Here's the Phandalin image for you guys. Bam. Not for you, the audience. You have to rely on theater of the mind. But you can see that the elderly farm there is in the south. The cluster of trees there to the northeast is the orchard. The kicking donkey is right there in the town square next to the Shrine of Luck, just above the Town Master's Hall. It's all pretty centralized there, with the exception of the stuff to the west of town, which is the Sleeping Giant Tap House and the Trisander Manor on the hill bluff cliffs.
Okay, so we came in from the north, is what you said.
Mm-hmm. I think we spent some time north of the city, or the town. Maybe go up and visit the orchard and then see if we can start tracking down the two dwarves.
Right. I think that's probably the smartest way. And hopefully they went north, going out of town. They mentioned, Bartha mentioned the Phandelver Pack. Is what
The
they were
Phandelver
on the...
Pact? Yes.
Pack.
Yes.
Pack.
Some
Okay,
kind of
cool.
old agreement between gnomes, dwarves, and men as to relate some mystical artifact that's legend and rumor could create other magical artifacts. It's all, it's like one of those things you tell you, Sword of the Stone, King Arthur, it's all speculative conjecture at this point in history.
See, I heard pack, and I was thinking like wolves or wargs or something.
No, the Phandelver Pact was an agreement of magically inclined individuals to protect a place of great arcane power in ancient history.
Okay. So that's what they were off doing.
Yeah. They were trying to find the location in which the artifact from the Phandelver Pact is currently located that had been lost to history.
Okay. That makes a lot of sense. All right. But yeah, I think that's
Should
a
it
good plan.
be
Shreya.
too messant?
Never.
Are we gonna leave?
The guy getting his, statue done.
Let's go ahead and let's head out.
Yeah, all right, yeah. I'll stay here and talk to the town master. You guys pursue your leads. Flask.
If you don't mind, we've got enough people probably going to be talking about us, so you don't have to mention us by name or anything.
That's
just in case.
Just fine by me. I have my own affairs to handle with the fella.
Sounds good. We'll see you later then.
As we walk out, I lean into the group. Is Stumpy gonna be okay?
We don't listen to Rife. We don't call him Stumpy. His
Not
name
to
is
his face.
Silvar. No, not at all. We've covered this, Rife. We don't call him Stumpy.
I think he's going to be all right, though. I think he'll be fine.
Yeah,
he's got that ring he can sell again for some more booze.
I almost feel bad taking money from him if he's that broke, but...
Well, but we're not taking money from him. We're taking money from the Lord's Alliance, and they have plenty.
They have plenty, you're right.
Well, and he's only currently inconvenienced. He's quite well off normally. He just needs to get into a place where he can have his account settled and sent.
Sure.
He's not used to having goblins take everything he owns and beat him half to death. He's used to living a noble life, kind of, running around in relative luxury.
And this Phandelver Pact, now, if there is any magic items, I don't want to be... That's probably pretty obvious to the rest of you, but being from Netheril, we kind of made most magic items. Anything you find is probably from Netheril, so I kind of have a first right to it. So
no, that's not how that works at all.
You already have your massive book mace. I don't think you get like first dibs on every magic item.
Yeah,
it's not like
not at all.
The artifacts of your people, you made them.
That sounds a lot like the D&D games I played when I was young too. I'm gonna need a hangover check, an STD check, and I automatically get first dibs on all magic items. Boom. That's 15-year-old D&D right there. 100%. No, but I mean, he kind of does have a point if they're Netherese. I mean, he does have the expertise.
I haven't really seen any passport or anything from Netherrealm, so I'm not even sure he's from there.
Also facts.
Well, look at her. We don't even know where she's from, and yet we're letting her walk around with us, and she's carrying that dark black spear.
She came with it. You didn't come with it.
Just because you like the dark black spear better than you like her doesn't mean that she can't hang out with us.
I draw the spear closer to my body protectively, and I arrive.
Have we seen her put the spear down? Has she
No,
ever
not
let
once.
go of it?
It came in the bubble wrap, you know? I mean, it's a blister pack of cereal, the uniform, and the spear. It's a set, you know? If you lose the spear, it automatically loses half value on eBay.
You don't want that.
Have you talked to it in the show yet? Because I know you talked to it in our pregame, but have you talked to it in the show yet?
She has not.
Okay. I couldn't remember if that was something that Taliesin had actually seen. Okay. Sorry, spoilers, don't listen. But so north then, I take it back to where we came?
I think that's our best option.
Yeah, so we gather up our stuff and we make our way back out of town up the northern road. Looking
are you going to cut over to the orchard, or are you going straight out into the woods to try and find gobos?
Well, we were gonna go. Let's see. Is the orchard off to the side?
Yeah, it's a little side path off the main road that leads to the orchard there in the north. A
Yeah,
dirtier dirt road.
Since it's on the outskirts, we can go out there, talk to them, and then we'll look for some tracks outside of town.
Yeah.
See if Thunderin and Nunderin have popped up anywhere.
Yeah, for sure.
We'll look for signs of goblins too around the orchard, since it sounded like they'd been making incursions.
So, the orchard itself is along a dirtier dirt road, clearly one that sees less cart travel than the arterial that leads to the Tribord Trail north out of town. It follows a low field stone wall, about waist high or chest high. I'm not trying to be racist here, depending on your various, height scaling dispositions, right? Seems to run the length. Rows of neatly ordered fruit trees sit at a diagonal. There are a variety of fruits, from your typical apple, pear, to the more exotic stone and breadfruit variety. Bees buzzing about, a couple of those, is it an apiary? I think it's apiary for bees, yes. Set out among the orchard to pollinate the various, and it never really made sense to me. Apiary, that's such a stretch to be. Can't it be like a bee-airy? But apiary, right? To pollinate the fruit trees that, again, seem, at this stage, late in summer, to mostly be laden with the various fruits of their perfuming the air in that way, that I don't know if you've ever been in a fruit orchard, but the smell of the ripening fruit in the sun takes on this certain aspect that reminds one of summer and tranquility, right? And that's the sense you get as the gravel crunches beneath your feet, and you approach the tidy, quaint little cottage, right, with its shale tile roofs on top, and the middle-aged elven man standing out front, currently putting various fruits into a giant juicer in the process of boiling down the juice into syrups and ciders, and the various things you would do to collect your year's harvest in the time prior to refrigeration and pasteurization. Also, I don't know if you've ever been around somebody making fresh apple cider, but boy, that is a scent on the air. And he wipes his brow, and oh god, are we getting apiary? Bee house, beehive, non and neuter, the apiarius of bees. Ah, there it is. Apiary.
It's a mystery word unrelated to any similar words in other Indo-European languages.
That's what I'm saying.
They really don't know where apis came from. It's just a thing that means bee.
There's really, in a lot of English, you go, oh yeah, okay, I can put that one together, right? Like apiary is just, what the fuck? Okay, yeah, it's where the apes live, right? It's the monkey house is what immediately jumps to mind. Oh yeah, an apiary, right? For sure. I got you. No, it's for bees. But he turns, wipes the sweat from his brow and greets you merrily. Hail, travelers! Are you here for cider?
Cider and some tales, perhaps.
Oh, well, I have an ample supply of both here at the Eatermath Orchard. And what might you be called? I'm Darren Eatermath, the proprietor. Elias and I bet you're looking for something a little stouter in cider. I also have mead.
Oh, yeah, I can trade.
Honeyed and fruited from my own trees and bees.
Well,
I'm Alistria. The gentleman is Rife, and we have our friend Sariel with us as well.
Excellent. Hello, it's not so often that people come for cider so well, prepared, he says, kind of casting a glance around your armaments.
The road was quite treacherous.
Aye, the town too as of late. I, don't see any scraps of crimson about you.
Oh, no.
Excellent, he says to kind of put himself at ease, reaches back his shirt, right, and unsheathes the sword he had back there and kind of sets it on the table beside him. You can never be too ready.
Seeing him do that, do I see any red about him or his...
Oh, not a bit. He was armed in anticipation that you guys were Red Brands for sure, is the impression you get.
No worries, just making sure.
You can keep the sword on you. We'll kill you either way if we want to. Don't worry about it.
Oh, God. Just
Rife has a disposition about him that takes a little bit of getting used to.
I've met his ilk before, about as edgy as one of these apples.
Oh, snap. Burn.
Might I try an apple?
Oh, of course. Of course. Come here. I have a variety of fruit you can sample.
Have you ever had
indeed.
an apple before, Sariel?
I don't know. I guess I'll find out.
I'll dig some coins out, whatever seems right for like the apples and maybe some cider and mead. And
he refuses it for the apples, but if you do want some of the processed good, I mean, a couple of 5 coppers, we'll get you a bottle of whatever,
Sure.
Mr. Edemath, appreciate the drinks and the foods. We actually came to talk about the problem down in town.
And here I was thinking that it was just the fame of my beverages.
Well, I mean, after this, we will spread word.
Guy at the Kicking Donkey had some nice things to say about your ciders.
Pompous ass. Yeah. He's all right. He's an acquired taste.
Yes, we know about acquired taste, and I'll look over at Rife.
I quite liked him, actually. He made some really good sausages.
You might like the rhubarb wine then, too.
I bet that's what was in that power word, drunk drink. Rhubarb wine. Wouldn't place that on the tip of your tongue.
That was pretty good, too. I think I had a good time last night.
I think I had a good time last night. I mean, that's universal for I had a good time last night as far as I'm concerned. I think I enjoyed myself. Yeah, you did, bud. Yeah, all right.
That translates the same in most Faerunian language.
That's true. Even Undercommons, like, oh no, she got down. Yeah, but, so what is it then? That, the Red Brands in town, is that what you're here after?
We heard you might have, maybe some information.
He kind of looks you guys up and down. Not in particular as relates to that. I know that they frequent the Sleeping Giant Tap House and that their leader is predisposed to the magics. He goes by Glassstaff, you see, and that isn't just a moniker. It's also in relation to the fell weapon he seems to wield. Back when they strung up the woodsman, he did it with his staff. There wasn't a man holding him aloft. It was magics what did it.
The woodsman?
Yeah, they murdered him in the town square nearly a week ago. Have you not heard?
Who was
Didn't
the
he have
woodsman?
like a wife and a kid?
He did.
Yeah, the one with the wife and kids.
Yeah. Someone told us about it. I wasn't paying too much attention.
No,
Well,
they strung him
so-
up as an example for talking out. That's why I have this sword here. I haven't exactly been silent myself. No, they took his wife and child, too, somewhere.
So you've seen
Children.
Glassstaff.
I saw him that day. Indeed, a hooded figure in crimson, dark hair. A short little wart of a man. Seemed to hide behind the power he wielded.
You think he's a man?
Ah, he was human. At least appeared as much. As
Did
were
you
most
say-
of his brood.
Did you say that the children, he took the wife and children? I thought they were killed. Are they still alive somewhere?
They were disappeared 2 days after he was strung up in the square, and have been gone now 4 or 5 days. Like dead, or worse.
You think their house is empty? I mean, empty of people?
Assuming that the Red Brands have not moved in to take it their own, not many people in town are the martial sort. We
Did they
found
have much
ourselves
money?
unable to... The man was a woodcutter. Hardly. A woodcutter with 2 children, I might add.
Yeah, not worth trying to ransack his house, I guess.
Do you know where the Red Brands came from?
That I cannot... Now, I do recognize some of them as local boys. Good-for-nothings, roustabouts. But as to where they suddenly gained this sense of organization... I mean, the Sleeping Giant, ever since its inception, has been a hellhole. But, no, I can't... I mean, they've clearly organized under this fellow. As to where he has come from, or what sway he has held over them, or who is organized, you know, I simply can't say.
When you saw him in town square, did he emerge from the sleeping giant, or did he come
From the
another place?
road east, in the very least. We were told to assemble there. And they made a spectacle of it, you see.
Well, that's at least something good to know. We've heard that you were a fighter, and not here to ask you to take up arms or anything of the like. But
In my youth, I could swing a sword.
I mean, you're more than welcome to. We would never turn down the help. The swordsman that we came with has lost his sword hand, unfortunately, in an accident up the road. But that said, we didn't come here to ask for help, but except for information and perhaps a strategic look at Phandalin and where we might be able to, I don't know, spy their movings and goings, and or if you had any information about any of that, if you've been keeping an eye on things.
There's an old watchtower on a bluff outside of town, about a half-day's travel. They call it the Old Owl Well. Were you to climb to the top of that and take a look, you could see the country for 20 miles in any direction. From atop, I would bear warning, though, there have been reports of necromancy. The undead in the region. Not that you seem a less than capable sort. But if you were trying to find something like a landmark, I mean, that would be the best vantage, sort of, the mountains themselves in the area. Alternatively, I keep mostly to my own outside of the orchard here in town, but Quelline, at the farm of the south of town, well, she's a bit of a gossip, to be frank, and knows much more of the comings and goings in town and the particulars of its residents than I do. Maybe she would be more helpful than me ultimately.
Well, about her, we've actually gotten her name a couple times. You say she's a bit of a gossip. Is
Aye.
she the good sort of gossip that?
Oh,
would
not
speak-
harmless. Allow me
She-
to assure you, just a widow that has not much better to do with her time than stay abreast of local affairs.
Oh, but she doesn't pass on any of that information to the Red Brands.
Oh, well, to anyone who would pay heed and listen, but certainly not the Red Brands.
It's good to know.
Are you
This
familiar? Go ahead, Rife.
This old owl well, how far would it take us to walk there?
The Old Owl Well is specifically some distance away.
You said half day?
Which, yes, I said that, and I want to verify that now, because I was mostly speaking in that way that you do, with too much confidence, when you're DMing and you haven't actually read the material in a few hours, and you're like, oh shit, was that one actually a half day away? It's in the hills northeast of Phandalin. It is a couple of days march northeast of Phandalin. 2 days march. About 40 miles outside of town. Which sounds like a tremendous distance, and you remember that the Sword Coast is like America, right? So, not that bad.
Are you familiar with two dwarven lads, Undrin and
Nundrin?
Nundrin? Yeah.
Thundrin and Nundrin.
Not in particular. I did know that there were some dwarves causing quite a commotion in the rumor mill in town about some big strike they had found. We were all going to be rich, but it's not a 10-day that passes that somebody doesn't come through town with some rumors of how they've hit the big one. And I mean, there's a miners' exchange, you know. If I leapt for joy every time a dwarf came into town with a big story, no offense, my knees would have long since given out.
No offense taken. We can be a bit over the top now and again, and some of us have a bit of a gleam in their eye for the hordes below. But it'll be fine. We were thinking about trying to pick up their track. We'd heard from Barthen in town that perhaps they were out here looking for something, and that they might be on their way back. But we're actually looking. If you had any goblin incursions out this way.
I mean, so they're not exactly fruit eaters. And I don't have beasts of burden up here. That being said, I mean, I have seen their leavings in the woods around when I've been hunting, right? They don't bury their scat. And it makes quite a smell with their choice of food, so it's hard to miss. I haven't seen any fresh tracks recently, if that's what you're asking after, though.
No, it's fine. I just making sure you haven't had anything come out this way.
We heard about a place called Cragmaw Castle that might be close. Are you familiar with that?
Now, I have been up and down around the woods around this area, and I can tell you the closest thing we have to a castle around here is the manor east of town there.
Okay.
Have you heard that it might be inhabited by goblins? Or a
The manor?
Yeah, or a hobgoblin or something.
Yeah, as far as I'm aware, it's abandoned. It's falling in. I mean, you'd have to be a damn fool. Then again, goblins, you know.
Yeah, I mean, and they might consider it a castle. We've gotten a consistent response that Trisander Manor might be where they might be being held up, or maybe somewhere nearby, but...
It's got to be the largest structure within 100 miles of here.
I mean, I don't know what a goblin would call a castle, but that's what they referred to it as.
And you said Cragmaw? That doesn't even sound like a local geographic feature.
Well, I believe it's their tribe name. I think it's their clan name.
Seven Hills. Yeah, I wouldn't know anything of that.
Yeah, we met one of their underbosses, a fellow, I think, named Clark. And
yeah, that is. Are all the goblins male? In my mind's eye now, this is something I seriously like. I've always made them male. They default masculine in me canonically, and I unigender them. There aren't like lady. I guess there was a lady goblin that came out and cried, right, when that one goblin got stung to death, like the end of My Girl. But that was just a narrative device. Like,
right.
I'm not sure if that actually.
I assume there are female goblins. I just don't know that. I mean, otherwise, we get into a whole discussion about how their reproduction works, and it's really not a topic that I'm well versed in.
Right. I think I don't know if they have broods or if they asexually reproduce, like Lord of the Rings orcs or something out of the muck. Like, I literally don't know. There's a thought-provoking question that I'm going to dwell on for far too fucking long. Are there lady goblins?
Yeah, I just know that they've got somebody there named King Grohl, and that's kind of who we need to. Anyway, Thunderin and Nundarin that live around here. They have a third, Gundarin, and he is a friend of my family's, and we were doing work for him, and he's gone now. The goblins dragged him off. So, and as far as we know, he's at Castle Cragmaw. So we're just looking for any information. If anybody's seen anything, literally the only information that we have is that they call it a castle. It is inhabited by Cragmaw goblins, and it has turrets. Is the only description that.
Well, now the manor doesn't have turrets. He says, looking over at the ruins of Trisander Manor.
Well, and it was too. We also kind of have a location for it in a very general sense, and I don't think it would be the manor, because I don't think it would take 2 days to get from where we got those directions to the manor. It didn't take us 2 days to get here.
No, it was like an hour and a half. Yeah.
So, but Trisander Manor keeps coming up. If it's fallen in and nobody's gone and looked at in a while, and there's goblins in town, I'd reckon there's probably somebody creeping around there. Goblins are like, squatters. They find an empty hole and they keep it.
Yeah. I mean, if I was a goblin and I was looking for a base in town, the manor might be it. But I mean, it's barely protection from the elements.
I also, well, I appreciate the info. I'm going to ponder on that a little bit more, because I don't know. It keeps coming up. I feel like we're going to end up looking at it once sooner or later, just to make sure.
Well, give a wide berth to the sleeping giant on your way over there, unless you want to pay the road toll.
How much is the road toll?
Whatever they want, is my understanding.
Well, my bow has something to give them, but I don't know if we're ready for that fight yet.
No.
This apple is delicious, by the way. Thank you.
Hey, you should try the breadfruit, he says, and holds out something that looks like an apple, except for it's literally shaped like a loaf of bread.
Is that a real thing?
Well, breadfruit is a real thing, not apple shaped like a loaf of bread. But yeah, there's a breadfruit in the tropics.
I'd heard the word breadfruit, and I was like, is that a fantasy thing, or is that
it's similar to a jackfruit, sort of.
Yeah, kind of. Yeah. But jackfruit's weird as shit. The jackfruit pulled pork, it weirds me out. It's a little too good.
Yeah, it tastes pretty good. It's kind of unsettling, but
yeah.
I think we spend a little bit more time here, maybe 15, 20 minutes, enjoy some food and drink, and like try and develop a friendship before we go.
Yeah, I would love to buy if he's got a small keg or cask.
Yeah, he's got the little
small barrel.
Half casks, that you could definitely fit on it'd be a little big for a belt, but not a little big for a dwarf belt, of some honey mead for sure.
Strap it on my back with my bow.
Mm-hmm. I'll just stand near Sariel. Stand near Sariel as she's eating or drinking, and I'll just kind of whisper, "Hope that's not poisoned."
Sariel.
That's why we can't have nice things.
Yeah, Sariel. He says a lot. I really hope that you just get used to hearing it. I don't know if where you come from you had woods. You've been in a few here, but if you just stop and you listen in the woods, you just hear nature, and it's just kind of this hum that's happening around you, without, focusing on it too much. It's kind of what we do with Rife. He's a little louder than nature, but you learn to tone him out.
You hear that bird tweet?
Good idea.
You hear that man tell you to rip out that child's entrails and make him a necktie with it? Same thing. Same thing after long enough. Just tweet, tweet, tweet. Disembowel the child. Tweet, 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 tweet.
We can sell this goblin to some people as an orphan.
Yeah. Really, how long do you think that they're like, oh, thank you, we're not going to take the bag off until you leave? It's not a great plan, that one.
He's a big fan of hoods. Hoods and bags over heads.
He's a big fan of hoods and bags.
I can see that.
That's all right, though. I mean, he's got good ideas, and he's a hell of an arm in a fight. It's just in the middles. I don't know whose side he's on.
So while you're sitting there, having your drink, Darren, he turns around after handing you the keg, right? Takes a little sip of an amber liquid, all refreshed, and he says, "Yeah, they say that the old well watchtower is Netherese in origin. I don't have an eye for the old architecture myself. It looks like a pile of stones, if you ask me."
I mean, nothing Netherese is really all that important. It's so old and kind of falling apart.
I mean,
no,
yeah, at this point, I mean, antiquity, much?
right. What watchtower? Where?
Oh, the one I was talking about that you could look out over to see if there was a castle anywhere around here. The old
The old
well.
owl well.
The old
Oh,
well.
that's
The
the
old owl
same.
well.
I wasn't paying attention to you too much. Well, perhaps we should go investigate this old owl well then.
Well, now I don't want to get your hopes up. I mean, I was there 6 or 7 moons ago. It's little more than a few crumbling walls and a broken stump of a tower. I mean, there's an old curtain wall. I only referenced it as a vantage point, and because I had only just this week heard about the undead allegedly roaming the area, which I can say certainly weren't there when I was there. Yeah.
I kind of look at Rife and I'm like, I think we can handle it. I hope.
I think if we end up over there while looking for the dwarves, perhaps that will be okay. But I don't know that we need to beeline our way over to a tower.
Well, if we go, then I could purify some souls over there.
We need to talk about your purification of souls.
It's starting to get fetishistic. It's Darren's like, I'm new here, but it's even weirding me out. We gotta make everything clean.
Yeah, we got to take the new kid out and give her a tour. You know, she needs to experience the world.
Well, Darren, I think we've taken up a lot of your time, and your hospitality has been fantastic. But we do have some dwarves to track down, and I guess a tower to maybe go see.
Indeed.
If we gave you our a place where you could send us messages, if you hear anything or see anything, come on the outskirts of town, would you mind sending us a message?
I'd be obliged as long as you can assure me that you're not in cahoots with those red brand sort.
What could I do to assure you? My word is we just came into town yesterday and we have a real rough feeling on these heard nothing good and don't want anything to do with them, but we haven't had direct conflict with them yet, except for one of them spat at me the other day.
Go talk to Quelline or Sister Gorale at the Shrine of Luck. Let them get a read off of you, and then I'll talk to them about it. They're the two I trust most in town. I guess Gladys too, but she kind of hates everybody.
We talked to her just earlier today, and she was
Surly?
surly, but she offered us goods and stuff, and we didn't have need
What
to
kind
purchase
of
anything at
goods?
the moment.
The good kind of goods.
Like behind the wall
Mm.
kind of goods.
Yeah, I'll keep my ear to the ground in that case.
Did you
Where
say
might
there was
I send a message?
We're staying at the are we staying at the kickin'
Yeah, we are.
Yep.
the kickin' dicky, the kickin' donkey? The conkin' dicky. I can't remember the name.
The
I
Conkin'
mean,
Dicky.
the
Yeah.
Conkin
It's the-
Dicky is what it should have been called now, clearly. I fucked up. That's on me, guys.
That's what's being carved right now in the town hall.
Right.
But but
He's just standing there. You know what would be a more bodacious name?
but
I've
yeah,
decided that it's the Dick and Conky.
But yeah, if we have rooms there and we plan to be here a few days, even if we depart for the old owl well, I expect to return here. But we're gonna at least be there later today. I'm pretty sure. We still need to talk to Quilleen and just see what she's dealing with out that way.
Will do. Fare thee well, travelers. May the
Peace be with
light
you,
of the Lord's Alliance anoint your path.
Oh, are you a
And
Lions fan?
yours.
Oh, he kinda rolls up one of his sleeves and shows you the old tat, you know? Like an old
Oh.
Marine vet might. Gives you the wink wink.
Have you ever heard of Sildar Hallwinter?
Can't say that I have.
How about Yarno Albrecht?
Indeed.
Have you
I
seen him
actually
lately?
received. I have never laid eyes on the man, actually. I received a message saying that I was to receive him in town about a month ago and never caught sight of him at the appointed time. 2 months ago? It's been a couple of moons, maybe now.
Very interesting. He's actually a friend of ours is looking for him as well.
Hmm.
The swordsman that we came into town with, Mr. Hall.
The one that lost his sword hand.
That's the one.
Hmm.
He's a Lord's
Stumpy.
Alliance man.
Just a man, then, isn't he, really? I mean,
It's where we, at this point, I mean, we tried to encourage him, but, he knows how it shakes out usually.
These traumatic events can have an effect on a fellow.
But as
True.
it were, he's here he came looking for Albrecht and said that, again, that he's been missing, so.
In service
that's
of the
interesting.
Lord's Alliance?
Yes, he is. He's a member.
Is he in the Kicking Donkey as well?
He is.
I'll have to make
So he runs out
myself
of
known then.
Till he runs out of stuff to pawn. I guess he's sending for some money, though. He owes us some money.
Well, if he's of the Lord's Alliance, it's like that he's good for it.
I don't think he's coping very well.
Yeah, I mean, but it might do him well to see someone else from the Alliance.
Or ill, but that remains to be seen. I will check in on him, is my obligation. You know, we are brothers in fraternity, if nothing else. Even if I am a bit old for it now.
As it is, I think anything to get him distracted off of his woes at the moment, I think will be fine. But again, we really appreciate your hospitality, and I look forward to this meet. And I'm sure I'll be back. I don't know. This is enough for an afternoon. I'm sure I'll be back tomorrow or so. Maybe.
Well, and I
before.
appreciate your patronage and anything else you guys would see fit to do for the good of Vandalin.
Oh, for sure. When we come back, if we deal with this Red Brands thing, I might have to talk to you about a merchandising deal with my tavern down in the hold. My father
Indeed.
could definitely use some better mead.
Well, and if not the mead itself, then the supplies for Dwarven Brewery. I have an excess of fruit for these last 2 seasons and need of transit to new markets.
Well, that has my ears a tingling. But we have other things to do at the moment, but I will remember that.
It could definitely be an acquisition to be incorporated.
I read about that at the Penny Arcade.
But, so, Eater Eldermath here has likewise said, well, just go find some goblins in the woods. Go check out the Old Well Watchtower, or the Old Owl Watchtower, which is the best vantage point for known in the local region.
Sure.
Go talk to Quilleen down at the farm in the south, because she literally knows who's screwing who, and what happened last Tuesday at church, and who has the best pie recipe. I mean, she's that lady, right? Or,
I think she's definitely worth talking to. I'm also have some concerns that this Old Owl Well Watchtower, would a goblin think that's a castle?
I mean, it did say crumbling curtain wall, single tower. That could be a turret.
But he said there's undead there now, so goblins and undead don't usually mix.
Not
Those are
usually,
facts.
but I don't know. It's a lot of paths that we have to choose, and it's just kind of figuring out.
If we go there first, we might be able to climb the tower and see Cragmaw.
That
This
too.
is possible. We're still looking at a 2 days march, though.
Yeah,
Also
still-
true.
We could look for signs of Thunderin and Underin. We're out there
Yeah,
on that way.
You could also kill multiple birds with one stone. You could set up a goblin ambush and go to. I mean, 2 days travel is plenty of time to sit in the woods at some point, and you stumble across a goblin
Sure.
trail, whatever. You do have
Yeah,
somebody
no.
specifically proficient in the tracking of goblins, and
It's true. I think that would be our best bet, because if we can find a goblin patrol that could at least get us in the right direction, and with at least myself being able to speak goblinoid, if we can just sit in a blind somewhere, maybe we can hear some stuff.
I think
Maybe
if they
Sweet.
somebody
have,
would.
I think if they have your friend, time is probably of the essence. No.
Time is of the essence. There's so many different threads to take, and they all might lead to the same place. But I don't think the red brands have anything to do with the goblins.
I agree.
Yeah.
I think we should go for the watchtower.
Should
All
we
right.
go back and tell tell Guy that to keep our rooms for us? We have enough money to hold him for a few more nights. If we're going to be gone for 2 days.
yeah. I think
we'll
that's a
get
good idea.
supplies.
well, and while you're here, do you want to check up on any other leads too before you head out? I mean, it's 2 days
I still
travel
think
one
we
way.
should- Yeah, I still think we should talk to Quaileen at the farm. Since she's the one who's got kind of the gossip, she might know something about something. Even if we have to sift through a bunch of fodder.
Well, if we're gonna go to her, we're gonna go through town. We might as well stop at the tavern, let Guy know, and then go see her, and then we can head out.
I believe he also mentioned Sister Gorale at the Shrine
At
of Luck too.
the Shrine of Luck, which is right by the Kicking Donkey, isn't it?
Literally right across the street from
Yeah,
the kicking.
so
well,
we can talk.
terrace
we can
that
talk.
leads into it, at least.
Yeah, it's the little stone
Hmm
icon in the middle, isn't it?
Yep.
Yeah, I think we can handle all that. If we're going to be gone for 2 days, might as well talk to people here,
Makes sense.
and then get a little better lay of the land. It's good that Darren gave us key information that Glassstaff potentially came out from the East Road, because I believe the Trisander Manor, if I understand right, is out east of town.
It is.
Right.
He could be staying there.
But so is the Sleeping Giant Tap House as well. So he could have
This
been
is
coming
true.
from there too.
Let's
So,
avoid those people for now and see what we can get out of the local.
Yeah, I think we lay low with the Red Brands for now. We'll come back and deal with them
Yeah.
after we have more about Cragmaw.
So to the inn and then the shrine.
Yeah. Yeah, I
in
think that's good.
shrine
Inn-
and farm, or in shrine and then. At any rate,
shrine.
we have
Shrine.
a plan of action, and it sounds like we're at an excellent point for our mid-show 10-minute break. As a result, boy, I cannot express how much it means, honestly and earnestly, that each and every one of you is tuning in right now. There are literally a million other ways you could be spending your Friday night other than listening to us nerd out here at the League of Raconteur Explorers, and it means so very much to us that you have chosen to spend your time with us. More valuable even, perhaps, than the follows and subscriptions and bits, but we love those as well. Right? We love every potion purchased, whether with the drams of fate that you're accruing just by watching, or with your bits. We love every follow and every subscription. It is just, it's amazing to us that you come through and support us week after week, and man, we couldn't do this without you. So thank you. Thank you so very much. Did you know that you can support the show for free, assuming you already have Amazon Prime? Jeff Bezos is sitting in a gilded tower, right? On marble floor that was excised by child slaves from some third world marble quarry where they were whipped with whips with broken glass embedded in the leather straps, just screaming in agony, "Why, Papa Bezos, why?" as he laughs from on high. And you could rip the whip right out of one of those slave drivers' hands by using your Amazon Prime subscription to subscribe to Lore right now. Instead of giving him all that money, you'll force him to give us $2.50 of it a month, at the very least, I mean, $2.50 a month, that's got to be like 5 shreds of glass you're removing from that cat of 9 tails. So little Indugu, we'll say, has one less scar on his back this week because you came through and you supported lore by stealing from Jeff Bezos. And I don't know about you. I don't know if you ever fantasized about that kind of Robin Hood relationship, right? Where you're stealing from the rich and you're giving to the poor. Yeah, the kid in the Mandalorian. That's right. It's literally the child from the Mandalorian that Jeff Bezos is paying a slave driver to whip. A little tiny baby Yoda. And you could save that little baby Yoda with those big, round, watery eyes staring up at you, begging for mercy, right? While Sarah McLachlan plays in the background about being in the arms of an angel, right? With your Amazon Prime subscription applied right here to lore. That's what I'm saying. Boom. Right? No pressure. No pressure. I mean, if you like letting Jeff Bezos pay a slave driver to beat little baby Grogu mercilessly while he stares up at you with his piteous watery eyes and go, why don't you stop this? Right? That's on you. I mean, that's your choice. Right? But if you support lore, you get to stop all of that too. So it's a win-win. So why don't you do that while we're on our 10-minute break, and we'll be right back. Thanks for watching, guys. And we are back. Thank you for joining us after our 10-minute break. I saw that none of you decided to take the broken glass out of the cat o' nine tails of the slave driver hired by Jeff Bezos to whip little baby Grogu over the break. And that's cool. I mean, you all can tacitly then support child slavery. That's fine. That's fine. You know, I mean, I wouldn't personally. It's not a good look, but, you know, I'm not going to besmirch our audience taste. So, I mean, yay, child slavery, audience. Yay, good for you. I can only take that joke so far before it starts to get weird, right? And that was probably well before we left for the break at this point. But we are back, and we are ready to go tell Guy Ferry that we are going to be reserving rooms in the Kickin' Donkey for the foreseeable. Perhaps checking out the shrine of Oh, and if you're not watching the Venture Brothers, there's something seriously, my God, like literally just turn this off right now and go start the Venture Brothers. Just do yourself the
Never
favor.
heard of it.
Bye, guys.
Like,
Recently.
no, stop performing right now and start watching the Venture. It is like in my top 10 favorite shows of all time, the Venture Brothers. It's just it's phenomenal. It is a wonderful cartoon. Literally, Gladys's voice is straight up from the Venture Brothers. This is 100% the voice of a character on the Venture Brothers that I have stolen whole cloth and appropriated for females because of the Venture Brothers. Like, yeah, no.
I thought it was from Monsters, Inc.
Oh, no, it's straight up. It's
That's a lot more nasal. That's way
Yeah.
more.
No,
it's yeah, you got to throw all of it up in your nose.
No, it's a wonderful show filled with so many pop culture references that your brain will melt on your 5th viewing when you still haven't caught them all. But all right, we're not there right now. Where we are is still in fandom, and look, like only 2 people left, so most of the people here are already in the know. Good. Now, we are going to the Kickin' Donkey. Then we're going to the Shrine of Luck. Which one are we stopping at first?
Kickin' Donkey.
Yeah, I think we just hop into the Kickin' Donkey and let him know.
Just popping into the Kickin' Donkey.
Talking to Guy Ferry, unless he only turns on the persona for the evening rush, I don't know if there's ever just popping in and talking to Guy Ferry.
Yeah, I just realized now that we're going to stop there and let him know, he's going to tell us about the 45 specials that are going on today.
Well, just the breakfast specials. You know, it's still before noon, right? You started out the day early, went to the town hall, stopped by the orchard for a drink. Yeah, I mean, you've only killed like 2 hours today. It's like 10:30 in the morning, and indeed, the interior of the Kickin' Donkey. While the magical neon signs haven't been lit up in their garish color yet, I mean, every inch of wall is still covered in kitsch, right? You have these little satchels that he's selling on a little hook on the wall for 1 gold each that claim to be dried goblin testicle bottle openers. You know? Like, it's just, you know, and of course they're a little too fur. I mean, they'd have to be bugbear testicles, frankly, given the amount of fur on them. And if you were a more discerning person, you would happen to notice that they were exact same color as the local breed of deer testicles. But goblin, you know, the goblin nuts, right, that you use to open your beverages. And he is flitting around behind the counter. There isn't a bar person due to the early hour. Indeed, most of the people here seem to be eating a thick porridge with little bits of dried fruit in it, dates or raisins or something. Whereas he is running around the backward, and he seems to be waving a little tiny wand when you see him bust above the counter, right? Wand waves for a second, all of a sudden glasses start to right themselves up in the back, right? He runs over here and waves the wand, the scrying turns on, right, to a couple of Goliath wrestlers going at it with one another, right? Like, it looks like he's getting started for the day, in fact.
Does the announcer on the Goliath wrestling, is it just keep talking about it, how it's a slobber knocker?
Ooh, is it a slobber knocker? You see, I hadn't really thought as to what the UFC announcer, what would douchebag say? The one with the podcast, if he was announcing
Joe
a Goliath wrestling. Yeah, Joe
Oh,
Rogan,
Joe
thank
Rogan.
you. The douchebag with, I love, first off, that I had to say, what would the douchebag say? The one with the podcast, and everybody's like, Joe Rogan, right? Like,
Yeah.
everybody just knows who I'm talking about from those context clues alone, right? Yeah, no, I mean, he would probably be talking about the sheer athleticism and, how the objective is for one of them to knock the other one out, like explaining the basic precepts of fighting. Like everybody there isn't aware that the whole point is for the one dude to hit the other dude until he falls down,
Yeah,
right? Like, just out of curiosity here, is anybody missing the nuances of UFC, the point of that? Just show of hands. Who doesn't understand? You don't understand that the point of UFC is for two dudes just to punch each other? Because that's the whole. Yeah, that's the whole. No, excuse me. That kick is what to hurt. One dude's trying to hurt another dude until he can't hurt the other dude anymore. That's the whole point. It doesn't. I don't really think you need color commentary on that. You'd be like, oh wow, that one guy's getting real punchy, huh? Looks like that other guy's been punched a bunch. Yep. Oh, and that's it, huh? He's done punching. That's all you need in my mind. But apparently, you need some guy talking about. Oh, and look at the ground and pound down there. It's Goliath number one. He's getting into a full mount position and really dropping those elbows. Like, yeah, no, we have eyeballs. There's no reason for you to. This isn't going to be on the radio later, Joe Rogan. Like, at any rate, I think it's a stupid sport. That's me. Boom, there. He said it. Oh no, he didn't. Yeah, I did. But Goliath wrestling's awesome because they put on a little panache. It's more like WWF, right? They're wearing strange uniforms. One of them's wearing a knight's helmet.
They had to change it to WWE because WWF was is back to the World Wildlife Federation.
Actually, it was the Western Warlocks Federation that sued in this universe. And,
right.
yeah, they didn't like being associated with violence because not all warlocks, Yeah, sure, some of us have evil patrons, not all of us, right? Boom. Hey, don't put warlocks in a war box. Oh.
Yeah, not all warlocks have a black mysterious staff.
Yeah, an evil staff that exudes
spear.
chaotic magics.
A spear.
Oh, spear. Sorry.
Facts. Facts.
You
There
need
is
to
a
stab people
distinction.
more.
Badass spear that you've been wanting to take out of her hands for 2 days now, Rife.
I mean, what's a spear but a staff with a knife on it, I mean,
True.
Yeah.
Very true.
Tasker.
So we stop in to let Guy know that we're.
Yeah, we'll let you
we're
know.
gonna be-
We're gonna be gone for a couple days, but please keep our rooms. Here's some money.
He spins around. He says, "No money needed, compadres. Sildar says it's on him when he gets paid."
Oh, well,
Okay.
that's fantastic.
Well,
that would I would say that's bodacious.
Bodacious like some
singular.
of my. Do you guys want some of Mama Fairy's goat drippings?
Do those travel well?
I'm afraid they do not because they come with a side of hot goat milk. Fresh squeezed.
No. Ew.
I
Ah.
wouldn't like trying some.
No.
Excellent. he reaches below the counter and slides over a plate of what looks like oatmeal with raisins and dates in it, and then slides over a, like a carafe, right, filled with piping hot goat milk.
I mean, some people like raw milk straight from the teat, but
Mama Fairy
it's
says that
not a
it doesn't
taste like
sizzle unless you get the goat drizzle.
Thank you.
what do you think? So-
I blow on it.
A little steam comes off the goat milk, and Guy is clearly sitting there anticipating that you'll pour the goat milk onto your oatmeal. Just,
Am I not supposed to drink this? Pour it on? Okay.
yeah,
Pour it
excellent,
in my
he says. And then you mix it up with a slurry, and it goes in your tum-tums. All right, anybody else? Anybody else? Mama Fairy's goat drizzlings?
No.
I'm so full. I just ate so many apples and breadfruit out at the orchard. I'm fantastically full. Thank you, though. Keith.
And I have no digestive tract, so I'm good.
You guys should try it. It's not bad, really.
You
And
don't
I
think
mean,
he's spitting
frankly,
it?
it's not bad. Like, of course, there's a piquant, pungentness to the hot goat milk, but it's offset by the nuttiness of the dates, right, and the fruit that comes through. I mean,
hold
it's a
that-
good, complimentary, creamy breakfast porridge. Just with a stupid-ass name being presented by an idiot hobbit, you know?
Rife, I think you would really like this.
What part of no digestive tract didn't you hear?
You could just open your mouth and put it inside.
If you put a hood on it, he'll like it then. Just put a hood on it.
Take breakfast
I
to a
trust
black
that.
site first.
I'll try a little bite.
Here you go.
Oh, it's actually not as not.
He
as,
spins around on a stool. Would you say bodacious?
I would go as far as to say, friend, that it's tubular.
Hooah!
Yeah. I don't know where that is on the ranking, but
It's
very
pretty
close.
totes gnar.
That's our cat's name.
Your cat's name is Pretty Totes Gnar?
It's Nar.
Yeah.
My nephew's cat's name.
Thank you, Guy. Delicious.
You're more than
It's really
welcome.
not bad. I may come back for more of that tomorrow, but or in 2 days.
Excellent. I'll reserve 3 rooms.
Yep. The
Yes.
ones that we're staying in, if you could just make sure nobody gets in them, nobody gets out of them. Things like
Except for you, I'm assuming.
that. I'm not going to be going back in for a moment, but yeah, except for us.
That is also Totes Gnar.
Nice. Well, we appreciate your time. We actually have a meeting at the Shrine of Luck. Sister Gurleen, or something like that.
Garale. She came in here the other day. Her hand was all tore up.
Did something
Oh.
happen?
Was it like Stumpy's hand?
Not quite that tore up, brah. But still, pretty Totes Gnar.
Did she say what happened to it?
No, she didn't. She just said that she was traveling out of town and that it got injured on the road.
We should go talk to her.
Yeah, I would love to talk to her. I really do appreciate again your hospitality, Mr. Fairy. We will return.
I bet you will. And you're gonna come back, remember, because tonight we're gonna have more of those tipsy Tiamat tenders.
Sounds lovely.
Cut from a real Tiamat, who is a singular entity, so it's very unlikely. But don't ask what it actually is. And you won't be Totes Gnar disappointed. Totes Gnar.
Does it taste like chicken?
More than likely, bruh.
Nice.
Uh,
Yeah, so we Taliesin bids him farewell and jerks her head to the door, and we step out to go check out the Shrine of Luck, and our horses and our wagon and stuff. It's still here in town somewhere, right?
Oh yeah, it's tied
running.
off in its magical pokey bubble where it lives.
Okay, cool.
You know,
Cool.
until you need horses, they all stay perfectly secure wherever they are. I like tracking gold. I like tracking horses sometimes. Like if the horse was outside here, it would freeze to death, right? Like I don't like having to constantly be like, all right, if we tie the horses here, are they going to be stolen? That's just housekeeping. No, nobody steals. That would be crude. Everybody is politer than that in the Sword Coast. They say now. We'll murder these people inside here, but leave their horse. That would just be crass, wouldn't it? Like, but yeah, no, your horses are still tied off. They've been stabled, fed, watered. They're, in the livery, as it were, that's attached to the kicking donkey.
Awesome. I mean, it makes sense that there's one there, right?
Right. Mm-hmm.
The kicking donkey herself is out there,
Indeed.
just chilling, being a mascot. So yeah, we go to the shrine to talk to Sister Gurali about
Garale.
about her maimed hand, and perhaps.
Excellent.
I mean, is it maimed in such a way that her and Sildar could make a hole?
Ooh, maybe they could just kind of scissor or something their stumps together to make like a.
They don't even have to scissor. There's not enough hands.
No, that's true. Just. Yeah, we'll sort it out.
It's
And I mean,
a
and then to be
romantic interest for Sildar now.
Right. Oh, I hadn't even considered that angle. But the entrance to the shrine is a trellis of interlocking fig trees that form a shaded corridor over a moss-mortared fieldstone path leading to the recessed grotto. A half-ring of natural stone benches form a semicircle facing a rough and mossy stack of fieldstones piled in a rugged wall, about head height for a human. Clear water trickles from the spaces between the stones into a deep pool several feet in diameter. The bottom of the raised stone pool scintillates with a veritable carpet of coins, and overflows into a series of channels which in turn fill an intricate pattern of grooves before disappearing into the otherwise smooth stone floor surrounding it. 3 torso-sized boulders hover suspended in the air, idly circling in front of the moss-riddled shrine and listing slightly. Each of the rocks emits a steady flow of water that makes no disturbance when it meets the water in the pool below. Reflected in the flowing surface of the cool waters, the face of a beautiful woman smiles up at you, shimmering on the surface, her golden locks rippling on the watery mirror. For just a moment, you're certain she looks directly at each of you and winks, looking for all the world like a halfling before returning to her serene smile and statuesque beauty, human blonde woman. Why doesn't everybody give me an intelligence religion check? And Sariel, why don't you go ahead and take this one with advantage?
Intelligence, religion.
Yes, ma'am. Excellent. 13 and 14 winning the day. Wow, I expected better than that. Your amnesia is strong, Sariel.
I'm
But,
gonna use my knowledge from a past life to add a d6 to that.
Oh, hell yeah, you are. Hey, that is much better. That knocks that up to a 19, which gives you the, the whole kit and caboodle, right? This is clearly a shrine, an old shrine, and that has recently been restored to the goddess of luck, Tamora. She is the patron saint of gamblers, game players, and adventurers alike. She's known for, predominantly, frankly, her mini-brief trysts, as it were, with the good-aligned male deities. each one ending amicably when her attentions invariably turned elsewhere, right? She was, flighty, I guess, is a way of putting it, and had a wandering, amorous gaze that she's renowned for as a god. Interestingly, the god Tyr is said to have slain the god Helm in a fight over her romantic affections. So distraught was Tamora that she literally abandoned her realm in Brightwater, where she communed with man and sought refuge in the gates of the moon.
Do I know this too?
You do not. You, with your 13, know that Timora is a goddess of luck, the patron saint of gamblers, game players, and adventurers, and vaguely familiar. Something about all of this is comforting, but not enough with that dice roll to provoke any sort of profound insights, which I wasn't anticipating with advantage. I thought for sure we'd get a 15 out of you, but...
Place feels a bit familiar. I go.
Doesn't it?
I walk towards the water and dip my hands in, just in the surface.
Slender Elf Woman appears from behind the shrine, garbed in white, and says, "Please do not remove any of the coins." And flicks another one into the pool. It enters the water without disturbing the surface or the visage of the woman.
Can I roll a perception check to see if she's got a maimed hand, this elf woman?
Yes.
Hey, Rife.
I can't roll for nothing tonight. I don't think I've rolled above a 3.
Give me a
wow,
coin.
6 on a +3 is pretty impressive for sure. That's...
Yeah. I'd be doing great if this were Star Trek.
Right.
What do you want?
Give me a coin.
Alright, I'll grumble and I'll hand out our silver piece.
Did you see what happened when she tossed that coin in? The water
Lost
didn't
money.
Rife
I'd
is
like
not one
to-
for wishing wells.
Out of character, had one of you managed to acquire a 25 on that, you would also know that Timora is renowned by the halflings for, they're all under the impression that she's actually a halfling god that has tricked the big folks into thinking that she's one of theirs, right? That's the rumor's still out on that one, right? They haven't locked that down, but if you ask a halfling, Timora, she's in on it.
I'd like to flick Rife's coin into the water.
Yeah, as you do, the blonde elf lady smiles at you and says, "A copper to the lady returns tenfold in gold."
See what she said, Rife? We're gonna get tenfold in gold back.
Well,
Aye, and
okay.
fortune favors the bold, does it not?
Rifle plot a gold piece and toss it in there.
And what can I do for you today, my friends?
Are you, what? Taliesin. What's her name again?
Sister Gurale, I presume?
Indeed.
You.
I am she, and you are?
Oh, I'm Sariel. And,
Taliesin.
Alistria.
And are you here for the lady's favor?
it couldn't hurt, right?
Well,
Oh, but
you have already received her blessing.
As it is, I wouldn't turn down the lady's favor.
A
we did
small
come to,
donation to the pool, then.
I'd flip in a silver.
You never know what worse luck your bad luck has saved you from.
Did
Good
your
to know.
hand get saved by Lady Luck here?
She kind of tucks the hand up into the robe and says, "I'm not sure that I know what you're talking about."
We, so We're about to venture out of town, looking for a few people that have come up missing. And the barkeep in there, Mr. Ferry, he mentioned that you'd suffered some sort of ill fate up on the road and lost part of your hand, and we were just wondering if...
Oh, lost
We
part of
found-
my
we-
hand is an exaggeration. Just some scratches. I fell while traveling at night. A simple thing, I assure you.
Nobody, you weren't ambushed by goblins or anything.
Had I been ambushed by goblins, I am sure I would have ended up their dinner. I'm not much of a fighter.
Could I do an insight check to see if she's
Yeah, I would like to do an
Yeah.
insight check on that too.
Why does everybody automatically assume I'm lying when I? Yeah, that
No,
was
I
an
just-
earnest. That was an earnest response.
I just think she's tougher
Yeah.
than she thinks she is.
No,
Or than
she
she's
is
letting on.
definitely, Alestria, she definitely does know how to fight. She just carries herself like somebody that could spin that staff around, you know?
Sister, I've been around quite a few of the martial types, and you carry that staff in a way that that suggests that it's not just for walking.
Oh,
Hey,
it's not,
sister,
you'd be foolish to carry a stick just for walking in these woods.
Could you tell us what actually happened, please?
I'll toss a gold into the pool.
None of you seem to be, have taken the red, eh?
We have no interest in
Absolutely
taking
not.
the red.
Then maybe you can offer some assistance. I am not just in town to fix up the shrine, although I am in service to the lady now that I found it in its derelict state in need of repair for wandering adventurers. Thank you, Dice Dad Games. I actually... So you look the martial sort yourself. I need your help.
How could we help?
I actually injured my hand attempting to parlay with a banshee. Everybody can give me a, what is it, Wisdom Arcana in the
It's
D&D's, Intelligence Arcana in the D&D, yes.
Oh, it was
My
almost
God.
a 12.
That was almost a 12, ended up a 1. Wow. Taliesin, 16 for the highest there. Will get you that, you don't parlay with a banshee. Alright? Banshees
banshee.
are near immortal beings of pure hatred and malevolent energy. I mean, they're like omniscient. They're nigh like a demi-lich. You don't just walk up to a banshee and go, "Hey, what's up, banshee? We're gonna chill," right? No.
How... You don't... Sister, I reckon you can use that staff quite well, but I've never heard... We have all sorts of tales about Banshee. Down in the hold, they're not one to parlay. They barely say anything that isn't filled with rage and hate and comes out less than a scream. I don't understand.
Fortune favors the bold. I have a question that I desperately need answered. And frankly, I mean, it's a fool's errand, but she was my last hope. With her nigh infinite knowledge, I thought that I might be able to parlay, and in my foolishness and hubris, my having to escape nearly cost me, well, my hand and then some, but also gained me some insights. You see, were you to flatter her vanity and perhaps bring her this, she says, and she pulls out a silvered hairpin with pearls inlaid in it, clearly ancient. In fact, rife That's Netherese jewelry, my dude. That's from the time before. I mean, that is something that a noble would have in their hair, for sure. Right? I am sure that this would stay her wrath long enough for her to answer my question.
Where did you come upon this?
I work for some people. I'd rather not say. Suffice to say, I represent people involved in an organization that would very much like so to find one Bo Gentle's spell book. And it is hoped that the Banshee Agatha might know of it. Now, out of character, the Banshee Agatha is a character of some repute in, Forgotten Realms history. Specifically for her dealings with one Dritstow Erden. Alright? And that series of books. So she is, for those of you not hip to the lore, alright, a well-established figure within the canon of D&D history, for sure.
I mean, so you said that we might be able to provide some assistance, and surely you can't imagine that we'd be able to speak with her on your behalf, right?
It is my understanding that this isn't just a hairpin, but her hairpin from, well, before she became her current set of affairs.
Is it known that if you give a banshee or give a banshee an item from their life on their realm, that it will bring them back to some semblance of sanity?
Fortune favors the bold? I doubt the lady would have incurred this idea in me were it to fall on its face entirely. While she is a bit of a trickster, she's chaotic good, yo. She's not gonna, That's...
Be that as it may, it doesn't seem like fortune favored you except to keep you alive, which I suppose is better than the alternative.
I did not, in fact, have the hairpin when I made my attempt.
So, what would you ask of us to take you there?
No. Just,
take the hairpin.
Were you to head up to Coneyberry, well, the ruins of Coneyberry, and indeed Agatha's lair, and present the hairpin to her, she would answer any question you may have, but, I would like it to be the location of Bo Gentle's spellbook.
Where did you get this hairpin, and how do you know that she's actually gonna answer the questions with it? I mean, you should have brought it with you before.
I definitely would have had the people that employed me provided it on my first attempt. And, yes, you're 100% correct.
It doesn't sound like the people who you work for care too much for your safety. Yes.
Canonically, you are 100% correct, and I am probably going to take issue with that at a point in the near future. Canonically, yeah. Yeah. No, that was a factual assessment of the state of affairs right now, and I like your insights.
I mean, we came to ask you about the Crimson presence in town. This is a large ask. How soon are you expected to have this Bo Gentle spellbook?
Oh, I don't expect Agatha to have the spellbook. I merely expect her to know where it is.
Well, I just know if you're on a crunch.
Does she know the answer to every question?
That's most the point, yeah.
Banshees tend to have just infinite knowledge about things. It's part of their nature after they achieve that status.
Does she know where I come from?
She has lived for thousands of years on the outside at this point. In that time, has spent a large portion of it sitting around the ruins of Coneyberry, just screaming at anybody that comes by, right? But also amassing ancient and profane arcane wisdoms, right? So she she likely knows where you came from. She likely knows, out of character, I can't emphasize this enough. It is very likely that should you get up there and not try and murder Hobo said Banshee, right, that she is going to be able to literally answer any one question you ask her. Now, this woman here has given you this hairpin with the intent of it being the location of a spell book that has fuck all to do with your interests, right? Right, but is technically what she's attempting to hire you on for. Right, but that being said, should you have the chance to walk up to, the Oracle of Delphi or whatever and be like, hey, yo, where am I from? Will I ever get vengeance? Will I ever, what is the color of my wife's hair? Any of that shit. I mean, do you really want to spend it on the location of Bo Gentle's? Who the fuck is Bo Gentle? What's his spellbook got to do with anything? Nothing, right? Nothing. Except for this lady, what Sister Gorale wants. So it's a bit of a Sophie's choice, isn't it there? And we'll have to muddle through. Should we, of course, take her up on her offer altogether? Because we have a lot of questions we want answered right now, don't we? Hey, where is Cragmaw Castle? Where's the location of the Fandelver Pact? What's up with Gundar and Rockseeker? Who is going to win the Goat Ball series this year? I mean, there's so many,
I took my odds on the Waterhavian warlocks for the...
Well, the Neverwinter Knights are they're gonna pull it out.
Yeah, so... that's the problem. They keep pulling it out, and that's not what we...
It's not what you pay them for. That's locker room talk, though. That's just locker room talk.
Sister, where is this, the ruins of Coneyberry?
Coneyberry.
Coneyberry.
Like a coney rabbit berry.
Oh.
I don't know, I'm guessing.
I was thinking
Coney 2012? Was that 2012 where we were supposed to lock up Coney? I forget, it's been so long.
Oh,
that
like
African
Coney
warlord?
with
That,
an M
remember?
in it.
Well, no, there was that Coney with the K in 2012, right? We had that big fun where...
Oh,
and then the guy got caught, jacking it on public in San Diego, and then all of a sudden everybody was like, African warlords are cool, I don't want to associate with this dude anymore. Am I the only person that remembers that? What's wrong with my brain?
I do remember, I remember the warlord thing, yeah.
Yeah, Coney and
I
his
forgot
child
his
army.
name,
Thank you, Dice Dad Games. Dice Dad Game remembers. But, Coneyberry is really easy to locate, right? Because it's the ruins of a town that the Tribor Trail, literally, you keep following it, you run through the ruins. That being said, Agatha's lair is probably a couple miles outside of the town proper. But if you keep following the Tribor, you'll hit Coneyberry.
Does that put it in the direction we're heading for anything else?
Strangely, the exact same direction that you would have to travel. Yeah.
As it is, sister, I kind of look at my friends and with a pointed glance, whether or not they pick up on it, but, as it is, we might take you up on that. We are headed out that way, if you don't mind giving us the hairpin. But I can't give you a time when we'll be back, because I'm not sure.
Well, that's fine. I mean, like I said, it's my mission here is to restore this shrine for, weary travelers and those that need the lady's blessing. So, I mean, I'll be here for a while, but certainly, I mean, well, I guess I work for the Harpers. Quasi-spy organization. So, out of character aside, Dungeons & Dragons decided in the 5th edition, right, that they were going to create these player factions that you could belong to, right? You could be like the member of the Thieves Guild, or the Spies, or the Emerald Enclave Hippies, right? And all of them kind of suck, right? All of them are really skin deep, and they're mostly for use if you're playing like an Adventure League games every Wednesday night, and you go and you take your DCI number, and then you go to a convention, and you're like, I'm officially a 5th level warlock, right? Which isn't really why I play D&D at all, right? So I tend to ignore these organizations almost whole cloth, right?
In all fairness, the Harpers have been around since like 2nd edition.
Oh, it's
They're in, like,
it's
the
true.
board game, right?
Well,
Yeah.
Lords of
I mean,
Waterdeep board game.
I think most the Zentarum have been around forever too, although they were an antagonist organization in earlier editions of D&D. They've just taken them and they've watered them down to use them as a game mechanic to give people factions to pair off against each other, right? And so I only bring up her association with the Harpers because it is literally canonically, narratively relevant later. Everybody you've spoken to so far has been supposed to want to recruit you to one of these organizations canonically, right?
Also, they kind of run against the Lord's Alliance. The Lord's Alliance is about control and order.
Right.
The Harpers are about freedom and democracy.
Yeah, they're definitely the, well, they're not quite the spies, because that's a Zentarum. They're the libertarian set, for sure.
The libertines. I guess I was going for libertines, not the...
Yeah, well, a little bit of column A, a little bit of column B, depending on how militant they get with it. But, that being said, she is employed by the Harpers, right? Who, in this instance, are definitely underfunding and undersupporting her expedition to ask a Banshee a question about a book they're interested in.
For sure. Could
So,
I roll
another
some type
distant
of knowledge
aside.
check to know if perhaps there's somewhere else where we might be able to find out the location of this Bojangles thing without necessarily...
I mean, it is, like...
just obscura.
So, it's so obscure. Like, it's so obscure that I went and Googled this spell book, like, and literally this is about the only reference to it in all of D&D.
Okay.
Like, there's no other hook. There's no Bojangles was a mage that lived. I mean, it's so scant. It is obscure
there was
AF.
that song written about Mr. Bojangles.
Wasn't that Mr. Bojangles? And wasn't he a drug dealer? No, that was the Tambourine Man. Never mind. I'm getting my 60s
Mr. Bojangles
protest
definitely
songs.
played a tambourine, and yeah, he definitely, played a song, but I don't know if he was a drug dealer. I don't know, was the Tambourine Man a drug? I don't know. The birds, they were on another planet.
Right.
Anyway,
So,
I just out of character to the rest of the party, I 100% intend to take this hairpiece from her and this hairpin and pretend like we're gonna go do her thing and just not do that thing for a while. I assume we're all okay with
It's
that.
on the way to the tower. Might as well stop.
Literally, you follow the trail far enough, you'll walk through. It's almost like Providence.
Yeah. So I mean, that's perfectly fine. It's not a priority for myself at the moment. But I will smile at the sister deeply, hold out my hand expectantly for the hairpin, and say, well, I've never done work with the Harpers myself, but have no moral quandary about it at the moment. If it could potentially help you and the good goddess.
And indeed, she hands you the silvery pin and says, thank you. And remember, a copper to the lady does return tenfold in gold. Gives you a little wink, wink. You swear that the pool winks in unison with her?
Well, I did, I mean, would you like another one? I can give you one of each.
And Bojangles of Silvery Moon is a legendary wizard, but why don't you give me 5 more sentences on him? Because I'm almost certain they don't exist. Yes, common Lord Bojangles. He's a legendary wizard from legendary times. He has a spell book, and the Harpers are after it, and he's Bojangles. Boom, done. He's born on night all 30th, 1034. Well, so that was like 500 years ago, man. You can't expect us to know that. No, but there isn't a ton of info on Bojangles, is what I'm saying. But there might be. I'm about to be corrected here, but I literally was on the Forgotten Realms wiki. I was like, what the? Because I wanted to turn it into a big plot point. I'm like, oh, I'm sure there's something here I can latch onto. There was fuck and all. But, hand you out there, poof. And, So, we can head down the Tribord Trail, or we can continue to the Alderleaf Farm.
Let's go to the.
Yeah, right before we leave, I'm gonna look at Sister Gareli and say,
You get any goat ball on this thing?
pointing at the pond.
Get any what?
Goat ball.
Goat ball.
That's not the. What's he?
We watched. Okay, so Mr. Fairy's got a scrying screen. He put
Hi.
his goat ball on it, and he was wondering if you.
Oh,
picked that up
gold
or if
ball.
you
Go
just
no,
picked up-
no. This is
He
this
calls
is a
it goat ball.
church.
So
Well, I mean, back where I came from, if you went to the temple right immediately afterward, there was a goat ball game on, and you just kind of ate your lunch, watched goat ball, took a nap.
is it only the Holy League goat ball then? That you
This
can
is-
get on this?
This is a shrine of luck. There's no.
I could bet here and get 10 times, right? You said 10 times back. That's how I do it. I bet on the game, watch the game, and get it back 10 times.
Oh no, that's more metaphor. It's
So are
with
we
the
not
faith
getting
of.
our coin back?
Oh, eventually, sure, the lady will repay you. Probably the very next time you complete a quest.
Well,
Well, then I guess we better be
good
off.
lady.
Agatha.
I'll just take that hairpin if you don't mind, and I take it and I tuck it in my shirt, and tip my
Yeah.
non-existent hat, and I
Yeah.
say, "The goddess be with you."
Have a lucky day, Sister Garale says as she waves as you guys leave, trying to get goat ball on the viewing pool for the religious donations. It's wonderful. Threw me for a loop, factually. But we're heading to the Alderley farm now, yeah.
Yeah.
Yes.
Inspiration.
It should, I this is a game mechanic that I literally need to remember, right? I am so used to on Deadlands, right? The audience just buys bennies all over the place, so I never reward them, right? Just as a general rule, because they have 80 at them at the end of every night, right? But every time one of you makes me laugh, I need to remember that I should be giving you inspiration, and I haven't been doing it yet, and that's just because I'm getting into the swing at D&D. So if you catch me laughing at you, demand inspiration, and I'll likely, if I'm laughing with you as opposed to at you, you've likely earned it.
I've been carrying one left over from first stream for a while now. So
Oh,
if I'm supposed
and
to
they
get rid of it, I
no,
will.
they carry over.
Okay.
It's different. The Benny's
right.
reset. Inspiration is until you spend it. But
Okay.
yeah, I'll give Rife an inspiration for that because he flustered me. When he's already got 2, now
Ah.
he's sitting on 3. My God, he's camping on him.
Oh,
Yeah, you got 3 inspo.
nice. All right.
But because I
back about
handed them out in the pre-shows we did, you see, and then I forgot altogether because again I'm an amateur. But
Well,
Alder Leaf Farm.
Yep.
So open up this dairy. The Alderleaf Farm is tucked into a narrow valley between 2 lightly forested hillocks in the south of Phandalin. The sight of it gives a calming impression of idyllic serenity as you walk the dirt path to the low stone building with a thatched roof. A merry puff of white smoke wisps from the river rock chimney. The scale of everything, from the building itself to the farming implements neatly stored in the open-faced shed, indicate that the inhabitants are very likely halfling. Right? Only the animal fencing and barn proper are built to human scale, although everything is in an excellent state of repair and craftsmanship both, well-worn and well-loved. You know, when you go to those places where you can see like the hand marks where somebody's held the tool over the years, right? But it's still got the sheen because they polish the wood and they keep everything up. One of those sort of deals. As you approach, a brunette halfling woman exits the front of the house, whistling idly to herself. In her hand, she has a couple of steaming bumbleberry and rhubarb pies on a platter, and goes to set them on a windowsill to cool, like in that perfect, like, my God, if I stepped into some kind of Norman Rockwell picturesque, I mean, it's just magical here, right?
Like a Looney Tune, Taliesin just starts to float along the scent
Right.
waves.
Right. I mean, you guys wandered right into the Shire. And she turns and sees you and greets you with a curtsy. Well, I suppose you'll be one to stay in the barn then.
Uh, we
We'd just
actually,
like to talk.
yeah.
Oh, well, most of the travelers that come through have at it with the kicking donkey and they stay in the haystack. And we, here at the Alder Leaf, the more the merrier.
Well, much appreciate your offer of lodging, but we do have rooms being held for us, and we're on our way out of town. But we've several people have said that
Are
we
you
have to
staying
come
at the
out
kicking
here
donkey?
for
Well,
the
that
moment.
fairy, he's something of a philanderer, merry man, that too, He's been giving me the side eye, though. He thinks the old Alderleaf can't spot him.
He does speak very highly of you, I must say.
I'm sure he does.
But yeah, people have been telling us that we have to come out here to this farm to perhaps taste that. Is that a rhubarb? I can tell, and don't tell me. Bumbleberry? Is that how you
Bumbleberry,
spell?
indeed, that it is. Bumbleberry and rhubarb.
Oh,
My own special
would
from my own gardens. She gestures
see.
broadly to, a huge swath of gardens. And why doesn't everybody give me a wisdom perception? Excellent. 10, 10, 17, and 11. Teleasin. She gestures broadly past her garden, and in between the stacks of corn, right, you spy a little halfling lad, right? He's wearing a wooden bucket for a helmet and has a wooden sword drawn, and he is just staring at Rife, just mean mugging, right? And right as you're about to, he goes, "You leave my mother alone!" Ah! And comes charging out of the cornfield directly towards Rife, right? And the helmet, the bucket helmet's too big, so it like slides down and blocks his vision as he's charging, right? And there's a precocious little halfling child. I mean, he's gonna kick the shit out of Rife with his wooden sword as far as he's concerned.
Can I just kind of like duck in and like scoop him up in my arm?
Oh my goodness, yes. I mean, like he's like an 8-year-old halfling. He's got to weigh like 30 pounds. I mean,
Yeah,
Serial,
he's like
could be a disguised demon. That could be a disguised demon.
No, Serial,
Oh!
don't, no.
Demon?
No, 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 no,
Yeah.
no, 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 no. Rife,
no,
Rife,
lad.
Rife. We don't talk Serial into killing children. We don't do that.
We're
That
not
a
doing
child?
anything to your mom except for asking for some of that pie. Wouldn't you like some of that pie?
well, now why don't you actually give me a dexterity check there? Let's see if we can.
Let's see here. Well,
Oh yeah, it's
matched.
only your proficiency. Yeah, you managed to. I mean, he's like, ah, and he almost like he's mid slash about to hit Rife like right in the shin with the wooden sword when you snatch him up. Like, yeah, he almost made it past you, but now he's struggling a little, squirming. But again, he's a halfling child. What do
Calm. Oh, it's we're friends here. We're all friends. Don't. Hey. Calm down now. Calm down. And,
she walks over, right, and pulls a wooden spoon out of, like, nowhere, right, and just wraps that bucket on top, and he immediately drops the sword. Now, we'll be having enough of that, won't we? Yes, Mom. I'm sorry, little Carp, he's excitable since those ruffians came about. He's like, the big bad guys. That's right, they're big bad guys. And what do? We stay away from them. Yes, we stay away from them, don't we? Yes. That's a good big boy. Now go play in the field. But I want to see the swords. They'll show you the swords in a little bit. We're having a conversation.
oh,
What ruffians came up here?
I'm pretty sure he's talking about the crimson, the red bond.
The red brands, yes, he is.
Have they been causing trouble here for you?
Yes. Quite a bit, in fact. I had these pies baked earlier already. This is the second batch today. You'll note our fingers are not stained with delicious pie juices. As a widow down here, I It's a pie or perhaps my decency or my life, and then who would provide for little Carp?
Well, perhaps someone who could teach him some discipline.
Oh, I know you did not just tell me how to be raising my child. She's about to get all chicken-headed on you, right? Really?
Yeah, Rafe, you don't strike me as the parent type. No. We've like I said, we've just been told all kinds of things, and we've heard also about them ruffians, as you call them, down in town. We have nothing to do with them, nor want to do such, but we have been interested to know, like, their comings and goings and things like that.
Yeah, so I, don't associate with the unsavory element myself, right? I'm
Of course
a
not,
good
of course.
God-fearing a halfling woman down here, just trying to keep to my own and keep the farm from going into arrears. But my friend Radoff, he would likely be more in the know. Are you talking about the bad guys? Well, now, Carp, I told you, I saw them go in the secret tunnel. Carp, that is enough out of
tunnel?
you. They do not want to hear your rumors and stories.
Actually, I wouldn't mind hearing about the secret tunnel.
I was in the woods, and I was hunting monsters, right? And I had
Like you
gotten
would, yeah.
like this many, and I was almost done because, that was all the monsters there were when I saw the bad guys. They came out of the bushes under the scary house.
The scary house. Which house is the
The
scary?
Do you
mansion?
mean the manor out?
The
On the
big
edge of
one, he
town.
says, clearly pointing to Trisander. The tunnel below. I was told not to go in there when Pa was alive. He said bad things live in tunnels under scary houses.
They do.
And sure enough, the bad men came out of there. And I almost got them, but I was tired from killing all the monsters.
Like you are. Yeah.
I believe it. That sword arm, it gets real stiff, yeah, after you've killed a few.
That was it.
Well, I kind of look at his mother and Miss Colleen, have you heard other tales like this?
I
Your boy
mean, I
seems to
know
have gotten
that
a bit too close.
they hang out in the east. I had no idea you were over there, Carp, and that is a conversation we're gonna have to have. The monsters, Carp. I have told you you can't go further than the east wall. But what the tunnel was by the east wall. Now, it clearly wasn't if it was under the mansion, wasn't it? You're right.
You see, Sariel, this is a kid that's never been spanked.
I mean, fact. She's
hunting
not a
monsters.
spanker. She's not into the corporeals.
He was
The-
only
I'm
hunting
sorry, the
monsters. Leave the
corporeals?
poor child alone.
The
Corporal
corporals, that's the one. Or the corporeal punishment. She doesn't like physical punishments of any kind.
Yeah, it's all the ethereal punishment that
Yes.
we like.
She's into non-Euclidean punishment,
Yeah, that's right. Cyclopean
Mm-hmm.
means of reprimand.
Well, yeah, so I don't know much about... Now, I know that the town master has certainly cottoned to them. He refers to them as a band of local mercenaries. Well, and you wouldn't have done that to the woodcutter if you were local mercenaries, now would you have?
No.
You should have seen the tears on his
heard.
children's face. In broad daylight in front of all the gods, it breaks a mother's heart.
You didn't happen to see them carry the wife and children out east, did you?
No, I heard that they went missing, but I saw them later that evening. Whatever happened to them wasn't that day.
What about
Where
this?
did you see them?
At the Kicking Donkey, we all gathered there after the scene to discuss next steps as a town.
What about this other fellow you mentioned?
Radoff?
Yeah, who's that?
Oh, he's a local druid. He spends more time in the hills around here than anyone.
Would you?
I mean, he knows this like the back of his hand.
I look over at Teleus, and he may know where the dwarves are.
Yeah, I just kind of great minds as they were.
Last he told me he was headed to look at some disturbance in the town of Thunder Tree. He said there was some magic gathering there that he wasn't too particular about having around. Now, old Quaileen, she's not the magic sort, you see. I'm the pie sort. Alright, so when they get to talking about spells and sorcery, I just glaze right over and think about my next batch of jam.
And just think about glazing a pie, right?
Well, and
Or
glazing a
knife
pie
it.
too. Yeah, exactly.
I'm right there with you. I don't do the magics much myself either, but I can eat a pie for sure.
Oh, thank you, Devil's Luck Gaming. Yeah, and indeed, you should definitely, seek him out. He said he was headed to Thunder Tree, and I actually can draw you a map of that. I'm pretty handy with things around here myself.
Which way is Thunder Tree?
Oh, it's, well, probably about 50 or so miles northwest of here. In the west of the
I
Neverwinter woods.
I lean in and whisper, "Isn't that the other direction?"
It is, in fact.
Yeah. I've been to the Neverwinter Woods. Sometime I'll have to tell you about the time me and me cousin went. It's been about 5 years skulking around.
Have you heard anything about goblins in the area? Maybe a castle?
Oh, yeah, well, I mean, goblins are why I have the crossbow. No castles, but goblins certainly, yeah. I had to buy a crossbow from GLaDOS. Never been armed in Phandalin before in all my 10 years here.
I've met GLaDOS. She's just awful.
Oh, she has a way about her. Wonderful cheese, though.
Oh, Miss Greywind. Apologies. Is that who you meant?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. I haven't tried her cheese yet. Did you supply it?
No.
I lean in, conspiratorial like. I smile a little bit and I wink and I say, "Do I look like law enforcement to you?" I mean, if you've got...
Well, it's not precisely illegal so much as immoral. The
Do I
lean
look like
cheese is, well, it's known for its,
Oh, I know. Psychotropic, right?
well, and aphrodisiac effects on the wee folk. You know, it's not a conversation for mixed company, and certainly, she says, covering little Carp's ear, not for the little ones.
Well, if you know where we can get some, I'll be asking you later.
Oh, probably the Lion Shield Coster. As far as I'm aware, she's the local supplier.
Oh, well, you know. Good thing we're good friends with her now.
Some cheese on the way out of town?
She has one night of drinking, and now she's just all about those experiences.
I need more input. She's just Johnny 5 as she goes around Phandalin. Need more input.
More input.
I can't express what a horrific idea it is. Hey guys, let's wander outside of town, and before we do so, let's all get whacked out of our gourds on the psychedelic aphrodisiac halfling cheese.
It's for after combat.
Right.
Gatorade before.
Here's the jacked up part.
Leaf spring cheese. Or
it
whatever.
is canonically only addictive to halflings.
So it's just a snack for the rest of us.
Right. But you just went and asked halfling good housewife mom if she know where to get like the GHB or whatever to get the party started, right? Like you just, hey yo, where are the research chemicals at? I'm trying to get loose, right? Is what you walked up to her and were like, so. Right.
If that's the gossip that she spreads around, is that we're just looking for drugs.
Right. You're just the local.
Gonna do. The red brands are gonna be like, unit. Oh well, fuck us too, man.
Right. In for a penny,
Could we have some of that rhubarb? Was it rhubarb? Tilius?
Bumbleberry.
Pie.
Indeed. Yeah, I mean, it's cooling on the windowsill, right? But if you guys want some, if you would wait half an hour or so, it'll be sliceable. You know, one of those super long half hours, like the brownies have come out of the oven, but you know, if you cut one, right, it's not going to be good. It's going to be all gooey and fucked up. It really needs to
that's
set
the best
first.
kind. That's the best kind.
I tell myself that every time, and then I'm like, God damn it, why did I not wait another half an hour to have a good brownie?
Well,
Every time.
Taliesin, before she finishes saying that we need to wait like a half an hour, Taliesin has produced like a knife and fork from her pouch and is like shining it off a little bit, and she's like,
Right.
"Oh, okay," and then she slides them back and waits. But she's really excited for pie.
Yeah, well, and when in fact you do get a slice of the bumbleberry pie, I mean, it's like one of those award-winning pies, you know what I'm saying? Those kind that she would enter into the state fair wearing a blue plaid dress that
This is
also
a blue
had room
ribbon
on her
pie.
apron for all the ribbons, you know, like best in show, best pie in 1490 through like 1494, you know. She's her, yeah.
This
It's delicious
is
pie.
fantastic. Delicious
Oh,
pie.
you
And
don't
you've
gotta
had
tell
such
me.
wonderful- Yeah, you didn't put anything special in there, did you?
No, I mean, it's just normal. Why does everybody assume that she's a drug addict, man? She's a local halfling, man. You asked her a really unassuming question about Well, yeah.
I mean, is there MSG in here or something?
Well, yeah,
The
there is a fuck ton of MSG. Yeah.
Monosodium glutamate or whatever. It's just everywhere. in here.
Yeah.
Man, I just want so much more.
The secret is corn syrup, right?
Oh. Yeah, they don't call it high fructose for nothing.
Right.
No, and you've been so hospitable and told us so many things. And your lovely boy here, I would say that you might want to put a leash on him if he's going that far out. I don't think the Red Widows are going to take too...
This is my first hearing of him going out that far, too, as well. He's probably referring to the cave on the south side of the Trisander Manor. I mean, it's built on top of an old cave system. I mean, it hasn't been... Nobody's lived there in the time I've lived in town. I mean, it's from before, you know, when this was first settled.
Sounds like a perfect... Oh, go ahead.
Is Carp nearby?
He's running around on a little rope swing in one of the trees. You know, he's ADD'd to like 7 other tasks in the time you've been talking.
I'm going to wander over to Carp.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to say...
You have 2 swords!
I do. You want to see one of them?
Yeah.
I'll kind of kneel down and pull out Sword Slayer and be like, this is my sword that I kill other swords with.
How do you kill a sword with a sword?
Well, when it's magically animated, you have to fight it. The only way to make it stop was to break it with this sword. We had to fight with brooms that time too.
What's animated?
It means it moves by itself.
Okay.
You see Rife over there?
Yeah.
He fought a broom and almost lost.
Well, he's a bad guy. Bad guys are supposed to lose.
Quite effective.
So, I need you to do me a favor.
You don't look like that if you're a good guy.
I need you to do me a favor, okay?
Yeah.
So,
Hold your sword?
No. It's a little big for you right now. I'd like to teach you how to use a sword, but that means you have to be safe until we come back, okay?
I am safe.
Which means you have to stay away from the cave. Where the bad guys are?
Okay.
Can you do that?
Why would I? I have a sword.
No, I understand you have a sword, but I have to teach you how to use one, and if you get hurt...
I kill monsters.
Monsters and bad guys are 2 different things, and you know that.
Yeah, monsters are way scarier.
I know, that's why you should have to focus on them and stay away from the bad guys who aren't nearly as dangerous.
So, leave the bad guys to you?
Yeah, we'll take care of the bad guys.
And I'll kill the monsters.
That's a good plan.
I'll leave the bad guys for you.
Okay. All right. Well, listen to your mom too, because she's a smart lady. She's gonna know where the monsters are and where to stay away from. Okay.
No promises.
No. Okay.
Might be
Like
narratively advantageous later to present a scenario in which I was endangered.
I'll stand up and like toss his hair, and then pull out 5 copper and hand it to him and say, "Hey, so listen, I'm going on a dangerous mission. I need you to hold on to my treasure. Can you do that?
Yeah?
But this is important. It has to stay safe. Okay.
I'll bury it
Okay. Just don't forget where you bury it, because I
with
did
the
that.
rest of
once.
my treasure.
Okay. All right.
And he
Yeah.
goes running off into the cornfield.
Sure. And I'll head back over to the table. Sheathe my sword. Put it away. Like.
Did you just pay my son to run away? No.
No.
Yes.
Here,
I
kid,
sent
take
him
some
as a
money and
scout.
leave.
I let
Yeah.
your son know that we were going to handle the bad guys, so he should focus on slaying the monsters and to stay away from the cave. I also gave him some treasure to go bury.
Oh, that'll keep him busy all afternoon.
I know it can be difficult with a very active child.
And
He
no
is a very
discipline.
active boy. Well, now,
Rafe, I'm
this
not sure you know
motherfucker
what that
right here is. I'm
Have
about to tiger mom.
Have I ever told you about the time that Rafe fought a broom?
Hey! We agreed. We agreed that stays in there.
I haven't heard about the time Rai fought a broom.
We don't know.
Oh, well, here we
Well.
go. So, there we were. Right? We were in this magical pocket dimension in this mansion for this person named like Fistandia or something ridiculous like that. And I go on to proceed to tell the entire story of how we had to find the books and Mage Todrick and where Rife got his book mace and also the broom incident.
Wait,
The
Yeah.
broom gate.
This
did you say you
big.
had another
And then
companion named Podrick with
then we all tear up when we talk about Todrick dying.
Todrick. In the arms of the angel. There went Todrick the gnome. Yeah, no, it's all very sad. Yeah, then there's a montage of you guys laughing with Todrick while he holds a pint, you know. You all dressed in black, sad, standing around a cairn you built for him, you know, for sure, yeah.
But just like a
Todrick, we
really
barely
small
knew ye.
cairn.
Yeah, it's
a
as
very
small
small cairn
as
because he's
just
a gnome.
little tiny cairn.
Does that will last? Does that mean I get inspiration?
Yeah, no, for sure. That's Tiny Karen did it. Oh man, that grave was like child size. You know what I mean? Yeah, that's. Yeah, that'll get an inspiration out of me because we know where my values lie. But with that established, we might have milked all the intel out of these folks here as they have given you several quests. Now, by my count, right, there are some orcs up in our rocky crag in the mountain pass in Raconteur that you can see from literally anywhere on the Tribor Trail. Smoke comes up from there, light at the nighttime, pretty clearly an orc encampment, right? We have Coneyberry and the Banshee Agatha, who we are to inquire as to whether or not she knows the answer to a question. I'm sure we're going to ask about that spell book, right? Because it would only be decent to do so, right? And then in front of Coneyberry, on the way there's this old owl well that might present itself as a vantage point and or Netherese ruin of note for a companion or not. In the exact opposite direction, in the Neverwinter Woods, is the ruins of the town of Thunder Tree, where a druid named Radoth, who apparently knows literally everything in the local area and could be like, oh yeah, Cragmaw Castle, it's 2 turns there, and yeah, you take your second left, and, if you've hit Waterdeep, you've gone too far, right? Like, apparently he's the guy in the know. Could definitely spot that. Additionally, we could just wander our asses out into the woods and be like, that smells like goblins, let's go check that out. Oh, look, goblins, kill everyone but the leader. You, tell me, where's the castle, right? Lots of options here, narratively, to move forward and select, or perhaps all of them in one big loop. We could do that efficient MMO run. We've got all the quest markers now. We just do the big loop, then come back for the turn-in. Get that dopamine rush as the XP bar starts going up. Oh, yeah.
What time of day is it?
Oh boy, at this point, we're midday. We've expended about half the day. Maybe 1 o'clock in the afternoon. Sun high in the sky. Going to be a nice day. Late summer, not too hot. Upper 70s. Beautiful picnic weather.
I
Should
oh,
stop
go
for
ahead.
supplies on our way out of the town.
Oh. Yeah, I mean, we already kind of left town, didn't we?
Oh, well, you're south of town. You gotta walk through town again to get to the north of town
Oh, do
onto
we?
the Tribor. I guess you could just wander off into the woods at any point. I mean, you're surrounded by not town, but...
We could go check out Barthen's place, but he really just had like hardtack, some bread.
I think I could use a bag to store some things in. I didn't bring anything with me when I dropped out of the sky, guess.
Well, he would probably be the place to go. The only thing he didn't sell was armor and weapons, but we know where to get that.
Right.
Yeah, we can definitely do that. I'm smoking a pipe after being quite full of bumbleberry and rhubarb pie, and
Right.
kind of have my belt loosened, sitting back in a chair. But if we need to go, we can go. I suppose I can get up. Ugh.
I think we should go.
As we get up to leave, I will walk up to the mom and hand her a little bit of silver. Just say, I know that the men taking things, I know you grow it yourself, but that doesn't mean it doesn't take a toll on your stores.
Oh, so your buddy's gonna tell me how to raise my child, and now you're gonna give me your charity? No, she said, oh, thank you. Yeah, a little curtsy there. Gives you
Also,
a couple of mince pies from the back, right? That are ready for the little hand pies for road traveling, you know.
Also, I would
I
like
reach
to
out and I
apologize.
snap. I kind of grab those and put
Whoa,
them
whoa,
in
whoa,
my
whoa,
pack.
whoa, whoa, whoa,
I'll
whoa.
carry him. I'll carry him. I've got plenty of room.
You'll
Got plenty of room in
We
here.
will not get halfway back to town before they'll both be gone.
I have filled up, thank you. I need not a bite more.
Last
Not
famous
even
words of a
time for-
dwarf.
It's not even time for tea yet.
And I apologize for our friend Rife. He is from a different
Honest.
place.
From a different honest place. That's wonderful.
I mean, he's not. He isn't dishonest. It's just he's got some ideas that maybe don't sit well with the rest of society.
Well, I've met
at
his
large.
ilk before. They stole some pies from me earlier today.
I give Rife a dirty look. I don't know who the hell you've sent, but stop it.
We will be out of town for a couple of days, but when we get back, we will look into the problems that the town is having.
Well, we would appreciate it very much so. And if you do run into Radoff, you tell him that, tell him I have some more of that cheese waiting.
We'll let him know.
Thank you.
We'll
She
head
keeps
over to
winking
the
at me. I
general.
think she's kind of sweet on me.
But, as you guys head your way, yeah, I'm not even, nope, just letting that one ride. As you guys head your way back uptown through the main thoroughfare headed north, you're about to reach the town square when one of those red brand fellows is sitting in the middle of the street and kind of flicks a hand-rolled cigarillo at your feet where it flares up at the cobblestone. He says, well, time for you to be moving on then. Give us your stuff. Be on your way. And then 3 other red brands kind of do this coordinated peel from around the corner of the buildings to indicate that there are 4 of them, and they're like snapping in unison, like they took 3 years of jazz tap at Juilliard and are about to West Side Story you. Ba-do-do-cha!
You have made a very poor choice, but if this is where you want to die, that's fine.
I don't think you understand the way of things here, but I'm going to give you one more opportunity. You can go ahead, gather up all your things, set them in a pile right there, and be on your way. Don't come back.
All of our things.
All of
I'll-
them.
Is this a
You're not
red
taking my
brand
spear.
bastard?
What was that? Did I hear something from the wee one?
Haha.
Yeah,
Oh, always.
I-
Is he wearing a crimson band? I missed the
Oh yeah,
description.
they're all red brands for sure. Yeah.
Okay. Ah,
I draw both my swords and take
Oh,
my
so
dancing stance.
that's how it is.
is this one of the guys that spat at me yesterday?
Nondescript red brand extra number 4. You know, like maybe not. They all kind of blend together. Most of them actually wear face coverings so they can keep you reusing the same stuntman. You know, it's
Sure.
But with that,
I would like to do something.
would you? All right, well then do something. Yeah.
Which one of these are the leader?
Well,
The
I
one
mean, there
that-
was the one standing in the middle of the road. I mean, none of them really are like, well, and this is my lieutenant badge, right? But he does seem to be the one that's kind of emceeing the holdup.
Okay. I'd like to cast charm person on him.
Oh, yeah, by all means. In your initiative step, however, because the swords have been pulled, right? And that set it off right there. Oh, this is how we're rolling now, right? But when it gets to your initiative step, definitely charm person is an option and not a bad option. Now, I'm not trying to out a character so far, right? But there has been just a touch of murder hoboing so far, right? Now, if we could take one of these red brands, right? And at the end of this conflict, he was still able to, like, you know, answer questions, right? There's just a chance, there's the slightest chance now that this fellow might have information that could be pertinent to the narrative, that could answer some, like, some greater arcing questions, right? Because
You don't need both hands to answer questions.
Oh, you don't need either
Neither
hand,
hand.
technically.
We
to
just
answer
really need to be
questions.
better about declaring non-lethal.
Right, for sure. So I mean, by all means, charm person is an option and a fantastic option, right? But we're not going to roll initiative this week. Oh man, because it's a whole combat thing. And we've got just
Cliffhanger.
like 5 minutes of show. I mean, technically 7 minutes of show, but I mean, that would be a real quick round of red brand conflict, wouldn't it? So instead, what we're going to do is we're going to go and actively raid another channel. We're going to pass along all this raid love tonight. Man, 4 raids tonight? You guys rock so
At
much.
least 4, I think.
Welcome
Yeah.
to all the new people. Man, we appreciate you showing up tonight.
Thanks for coming.
We're just flattered that you have chosen to spend your time with us. And Rife could definitely kill them all in 7 minutes, for sure. I know they came for the combat. I know, and that's why they're going to have to come back next week, right? Oh, yeah. Yeah, they got a taste of flight, and now they got to pay for wings. Oh. No, but, it's just, I mean, amazing. So wonderful to have you guys. I hope that you are enjoying the story so far. You can check out every episode, the previous 3 episodes of our Rod of Seven Realms so far on the YouTubes, right? Where we have the VOD that lives constantly. Episodes are posted in the next week. That follows the week of performance. Of course, they all air live here on Twitch. In addition to our Friday night Dungeons and Dragons, we have a Tuesday night open gaming show with our community where people can come in and play the Zone RPG with us that requires no experience. They can come and do voiceover with us on the game Wildermyth, all kinds of things. You can join our Discord community, make yourself introduced over there. ! Discord in the chat will get you a link to that. I'm the biggest asshole there, so if you can tolerate me, you'll probably do all right amongst us. In addition, to the tabletop RPG. We do all kinds of nerd shit over there. We're doing the culinary arts, we're doing the visual arts, we're doing the musical arts. We're discussing pop culture, nerd theory, all kinds of madness. We are playing the shit out of Final Fantasy XIV right now. I've never been an MMO guy before, really. Like, it's got its claws in me. It's got me by the short and curlies. I'm a little tiny, 3 foot tall Lalafellow man with big eyes named Wimples Fizzlebottom. I just can't get enough. He's the most adorable thing I've ever created. And even
fancy
if I had
underpants.
kids, I would be like, I don't know. I mean, I know I got this baby here, but I also have Wimples Fizzlebottom, right? It's just, oh, it's magical. Yeah, a random stranger bought me a $500,000 pair of panties and then invited me to go to a second location and look at his hot tub in the game. That's how cute Wimples Fizzlebottom is. And you can play with him too if you join us in the Discord and play Final Fantasy. But that's pretty much it. I mean, come by, be a nerd, hang out with us. We love all of you. Thanks so much for being here. I mean, it's just wonderful. It's so affirming. It makes us feel like we spent all this money on these costumes and it's actually working out, right? But from the League of Raconteur Explorers to yourself, per fabulum veritas, and may your dice always roll hot. Stick around for the raid. We love you guys. Have a good night.